This program is brought to you by Taom Billiards.
Too fast, too fly, too flaunty, too gas, too high, yeah, we on it. We go wherever the crew going. I'm ready, so tell me who want it.
Evening. Monday Night Pool is back for you on Free Sports, but this time it comes with a twist. We have 4 players taking on each other tonight for the princely prize pot of £5,000. Simon Webb caught up with our players.
Patty, great to have you here at the Shootout Showdown. I want to get your thoughts on the money matches. You're much more renowned as a money match player than tournament player. What is it about money matches that really appeals to you?
I think it's probably a slight bit of added pressure, you know. Quite often you've got a lot of your close relatives, friends and that are putting their trust in you, backing you. So I guess it's a bit of that, and it's just a one match or a tournament. You've sometimes got time to play your way into it.
There's more people watching money matches. You play tournaments and it's scattered everywhere in like a club or place, wherever. Money matches, all eyes are on you and you have to perform really. That's what I enjoy.
Does the size of the pot that you're playing for make any difference to the sort of amount of pressure you feel?
Not really. Whether it be £1,000 ahead or £10,000 ahead, for me it's all about putting your name out there, you know what I mean? It's not about the money. The money's just an added bonus.
I don't think it changes. I think the pressure's already there. I think like from £1,000 to £10,000, the pressure's still the same. It's still a substantial amount of money.
And tonight there'll be no crowd, which is unusual for money matches. Do you think that will change the dynamic of the match? And does the live TV add something to the dynamic?
I think without the spectators, it could change it a little bit, because when you play a money match and have a bad miss, you expect to be heckled almost. So you'll miss that. But with the cameras here as well, that makes a little bit more added pressure. So it kind of counteracts each other. I'm
not too sure. I think possibly it'll change a bit, because I'm thinking about everyone watching at home and you don't want to look a bit stupid. But then with the crowd, they do help you. So we'll just have to see how it goes.
And thoughts on your opponent tonight?
Matt's a cracking player, yeah. I think he got to the final of one of the shootout events, the one before I managed to get to the final, but yeah, he's a good attacking player, but hopefully not good enough tonight.
Wish you the best of luck.
Cheers, mate, thanks.
Patty, yeah, he's a very good player. I've not seen much of him apart from the shootout, which was really good and entertaining. It was nice to watch, so if I'm in my seat, it'll be a pleasure to watch anyway.
Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Well, welcome. It's Monday nights on Free Sports and it's pool time. We've not said that in a little while. We're delighted to be with you. Stephen Jameson and Simon Webb. Monday nights on Free Sports, our pool nights once again. Simon, how excited are we to have it back in a slightly new format?
I'm very excited to be back in this format. It's a different dynamic on the table. We've seen a lot of tournaments over the last few years here on Free Sports. This is our first taste of money matches, and money matches are something we've seen up and down the country in the pool world every single weekend for the last few years. So it's going to be fascinating to see how they go on TV.
Yeah, we have 2 matches for you tonight, and one for £2,000, one for £3,000 as well. Those are not small amounts of money, I'm sure you'll all agree. And this is what we've got coming up for you tonight. We kick off with Patty McCarran against Matt Lawrenson. And we just heard from our 2 players there. And then later on this evening, Steve Smart takes on Martin McIntosh for the prize pot of £3,000. So 5k on the line tonight, which is what we're really, really excited for. We've had plenty of pool on your screens so far in the lockdown period, and it's been in the shootout format, and so will this as well. We love the shootout format for the drama that it can give us, Simon, but when you've got this format for this amount of money on one little hour of play, it gets a little bit interesting, doesn't it? We're going to play 2 frames, half an hour each, and if we're still level after 2, we'll go to a 1-frame decider.
Absolutely. Normally money matches are, they've evolved from sort of races to 15, 17, and nowadays money matches are played in races to say 21, 25, some of them are even 30, really long money matches with lots of money up on the line. Today we're playing in the shootout format, so it's very quick, it's very severe, and in set play as well, so it's a much shorter format for the players. And I was interested to see whether the players would be up for this sort of format, whether they would want to play in it, because it's more volatile, but so far we've seen a lot of interest.
Yeah, we sure have, and no surprise really, a great chance for our players here tonight to give themselves a bit of a showcase. It's Matt Lawrenson versus Patty McCarran for £2,000 up next on Free Sports. Join us. Evening, welcome back to Free Sports. We've got live pool on your screens this Monday night. Stephen Jameson and Simon Webb here with you for the Shootout series. And what a game we have in prospect for the princely sum of £2,000. Patty McCarran with the first break. He's up against Matt Lawrenson here. Shootout rules. Half hour for the first set. And Patty McCarran is going to come up dry on the first break of the match. So a chance then for Matt Lawrenson to get himself into the groove with the first pot of the night, and it looks like he's queuing pretty sweetly. He kicks things off with a lovely yellow into the corner. So black ball rules, if you're not too familiar with the pool here on Free Sports. Ball must hit the cushion after contact. If it's a foul, it's a shot and a visit. No two shots carry, anything like that. 20-second shot clock for the entire match, which is quick.
It's the one big change from the normal shootout rules. 20 seconds throughout the match rather than the change at the halfway point. So the player's straight into the deep end with 20 seconds. It is short, it is severe. We have a fascinating matchup. One thing you need to have a really good money match is a very competitive match, two even standard players, and this is a match that I've been looking at this afternoon, see if I could pick a winner, and it was a really tough match to call. I can't, say which way this one's going to go. So all the lookings of a brilliant matchup in prospect.
I tell you what, how pleased will Matt Lawrenson be so far with this start? Good chance here for a reverse dish. If he can secure his black into the bottom left. Dealt with the yellows really, really nicely. To go one up. Lovely. What a start from Matt Lawrenson, Simon. That is not bad going for your first frame on the telly.
Absolutely. Fantastic start by Matt. All you want in the first frame is an opportunity to get your cue arm going, and to be able to take it out and take it out so smoothly is absolutely fantastic and a great start for him.
Well, there's the James Bond style case of cash here in the studios here. Black ball rules, as we mentioned earlier. Shootout does mean we have the introduction of a golden break and a golden duck. If you pop the black off the break, you win the frame. If you do both the black and the white, you lose the frame. We'll have two sets on the 30-second shot clock. On a 20-second shot clock, I should say. 30 minutes on each set. Players do get one extension. The match is tied after two. We do a one-frame shootout. Oh, Matt Lawrenson is going to get a ball with his break as well. Last one on the move, so off in the way. And a good chance here to go 2-0 up. Always want to make a ball off your break. It's not the easiest light he could have, and he's not got a lot of time to think about it.
Lovely start, that 3-ball plant. Good vision. Of course, after the break, it is an open table, which is slightly different to other rules. You can then play the shot that Matt just played, open things up, and the only thing that's done is it's just knocked the black onto the cushion, but there is room to play onto it. He'd have to just slide by those yellows, but he'd back himself to make the black down the cushion if he lands on it. The reds aren't too bad. Ideally, he wants to leave the red in the top half of the table for his last ball, because that's by far and away the easiest ball to land on the black with. But to do that, he's probably going to have to take the one down the right-hand side of the table first, the one down the cushion, which is big pressure on this pot.
Yeah, this is tough. It's close. Oh, well played.
Really nice.
Tell you what, he seemed pretty nervous in the build-up to this one, Simon. I know you were speaking to him on his interview, and I mean, it's totally understandable. First big match on telly, feeling the pressure a little bit, but he has looked right at home. This angle is not the kindest. You should should be able to manoeuvre the white across the table. But aside, needs it to keep coming. Needs it to keep coming.
Oh, I'm not sure he's landed. Looking at that camera angle there, he's asked the referee for a total snooker, so he is fractions away from being on this black, and now that he's not, he's massively odds against hitting it, let alone making it. Jaw of the middle of the pocket could be in the way. Oh, he's okay. At least he's not giving away the foul, so his opportunity goes. And his problem was the fact that he landed just off straight on this last ball and had to go and use the top cushion rather than just rolling through for the black.
Yeah, it was a precise shot required. He's about to ball roll off being absolutely perfect. And I mean, it's just what Paddy McCarran needed. You know, you're talking there about a ball roll off being 2 frames up if you're Matt Lawrenson. Paddy McCarran here will really fancy his chances to take this frame back. He's going to play safe. It's not the biggest surprise. Just going to develop his bad ball.
Foul. 1 free shot.
And that'll help.
One visit.
Paddy McCarran a little bit as well.
It's just what he wanted from that safety shot snooker. He developed a ball whilst playing it, gets his free shot as an added bonus, and now the table at his mercy.
Yeah, this has to go. If you're Paddy McCarran, couldn't really wish for a better opportunity to take a frame at this stage of the match. Good chance to get the arm going.
He could have preferred to come further down the table. He's still fine, still has options.
It's interesting that we've seen these two players in shootout matches before, but it's never quite felt like this. This feels a lot more almost personal and a bit more exposed in a way. You know, the shootout events that we've seen them compete in, I think Paddy McCarran got all the way to, well, quite far, I think final at one stage. You know, that's in the swing of an event, the atmosphere's flowing, you're feeling good. This altogether is a bit more of a one-off, a bit more microscopic. All the attention is on these two players and nothing else.
I agree, and it's one of the questions I wanted to ask him in interview beforehand was, you know, we've lost the crowd, and that's something they really thrive on, certainly in money matches, but also in the shootout. But it is a lot more intimate here in the arena we have here, which is completely empty, just the player and the referee. And yeah, it's definitely it feels different. It is going to be fascinating to see how both players react to that.
Don't forget, tomorrow on Free Sports, we have the Super Series final. This has been what we've had on Free Sports over the last 7 or 8 weeks. And Gareth Hibbert and Alex O'Donoghue will compete tomorrow for the Super Series title. Cannot wait for that one. Could be really good. Join us from 6 o'clock on Free Sports. Has absolutely battered that break.
He's got some power in that break, hasn't he? He's very unfortunate on this occasion. Really unlucky. Parks the white in the centre of the table and gets kicked in after a really powerful break.
Yeah, I can't believe how high that white went. That was remarkable.
We talk a lot on commentary about the importance of the break, and it's even more so in this sort of format. Money match for, well, a decent sum of money. The pressure on the break, getting more chances than your opponent, could be absolutely crucial in this match. So far, we have 3. This is our 3rd frame, and Matt has had the first opportunity on all 3 occasions. If he plays at a reasonable standard tonight, then that would bode well. The back end of this finish is tricky. If he can land nicely on the either yellow to the left and right of the black, then this should open up nicely. It's just a precision finish, really. Ideally, I think I'd want the one in the middle of the table out the way before playing the one on the bottom cushion. Maybe leave that one as my last ball to get onto the
Time
black.
out, please. Thank you. Time running.
Time out called while Donna Evans fetches the rest.
Both players do get one extension per set in this new Shootout Showdown format. That wasn't used on that occasion. That was the referee just calling for the timeout so that the rest could be brought to the table.
Yeah, that's something we see all the time, the rest. That's a canny little shot from Matt Lawrenson.
It's a good choice, I think, to move the black and just make the finish easier, but he needed to catch this black almost full and park the white where the black was so that he could play the yellow on the bottom cushion. See, because now he's in real trouble. This is a really difficult shot, and hasn't got a huge amount of margin of error to land on this black. It's a good pot, no position. This finish got unstuck 2 or 3 shots ago.
Well, for the second time, Matt Lawrenson's potted all his colours, and he's not on the black. Can he force something? What's he got in the box of tricks? Oh, how about
wow.
it?
He's got a lot in the box of tricks. Fantastic.
What a shot. What a shot. That is not an easy one to judge from that position on the table either. That is superb.
Doubles into the corner pockets like that are so hard to judge, but Matt's come up with a big shot. And I always think it's more impressive as well once you know you should have probably cleared them up, you know, in a bit easier fashion. The fact that he's had to come up with that big shot or face going 2-1 behind, having had all the chances so far, was fantastic, and one good break away from really being in the driving seat in this set. First time tonight the black has gone close to the corner pocket, or the centre pocket, the closest we've come to a golden break so far. But it is a disappointing break for Matt as he comes up dry. So for the first time in this match, Patty McCarran gets first opportunity in a frame.
That's come out nice. That's come out pretty nice. Didn't play that, I think. Well, it didn't in the end. I don't think the cannon that happened was exactly as he intended it. But that's not bad.
Problems are just starting to build in this finish. He's on the yellow that he's nearest to. That goes to the bottom corner. No choice but to play for the yellow at the top of the table, I think, from this ball. The two at the bottom are really hard to land on. The one to the bottom right does not go to the bottom right, I'm pretty sure. Well, he's come around to have a look, so maybe he has got the smallest pocket here.
This is tight. Too tight.
Yeah, that was very, very tight. We're fortunate enough in the commentary box to have an overhead camera, and from my perspective, have a look from this overhead, that really doesn't look on at all. In fact, it just brushes the red as well.
Tell you what, it's a good first shot. Matt Lawrence is feeling this. He's played really well so far. Couple of really, really impressive shots. He has had a couple that have let him down. It's cost him one frame, he's recovered the other. And he's got to be pretty pleased with how he started.
He's had some success in this format of the game before. He's been all but an ever-present in the shootouts we've had on Free Sports. Didn't play in the grand final in Aberdeen, but has played in the rest. Made a final, made a semi-final. been a player that when you see him, I've seen him at these shootout events when he's just having a practice on the table beforehand or with a friend afterwards, and you know, he looks so relaxed and he looks $1 million. But when the match gets started, it sometimes can look a little bit more tense, a little bit more tight. Today is not the case. He looks really relaxed and really at peace with himself out there. Great shot. Awkward cueing with where he had to place his hand, but really struck that one in nicely.
Playing really well as we reach the halfway point of the frame. That noise signifying half time, as it were, but there won't be any rest for these two. The 3-1, it's there. Matt Lawrenson 2 frames away from 1-0 in this shootout showdown match.
This is one of the other slight changes from the shootout that you have seen on Free Sports over the past year or so. In the last 15 minutes of each set, the referee will ask the clock to be stopped so that Donna can rack the balls up without having the time pressure. I think it's the right decision. Make sure you get a nice rack. Make sure it's fair for both players.
Frame 5, Patty and McCarran to break. Trading 3 frames to 1. Time on.
Now then, that's actually turned into a very good break.
First time in the set, but Patty has got to play the first shot after his break, and he's got a great opportunity. Just one tricky ball to work out. Red, middle of the top cushion, it doesn't go to the top right. There is room for it to go to the top left. In fact, it's actually quite a big pocket. I think he can play it off the yellow. So he just wants to try and get this white to the right hand side above the bulk line, and that isn't easy to do from this angle. Able to pinch the pocket. Red was close enough, and that is perfection. That is a frame-winning shot.
He'll hope.
Yeah, he can't think like that, of course. He has to still put the finishing touches to it.
Speaking of which, that is not what Patty McCarran was hoping for. It was a big pocket, you were quite right. I think a bit more pace and he'd have probably been there, but he's tried to hold the white by playing it dead weight. It wasn't easy. Real tough judgment, that one. Matt Lawrenson again, not a lot of time to think about it. Going to play safe. I tell you what, he's not going to be quite behind the yellow. I thought he was for a second there.
Does that give Patty an opportunity for something quite big and impressive? He's got no choice. He's got no safety option here, so he has to come up with something pretty special. Some sort of 3-ball plan.
Yeah, gotta be. It's not bad. Needs to be able to see this ready can. Now what can he engineer with it?
In the end, I think it's a 4-ball plant, is it? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. He has a shot on this red, but you're almost guaranteed to pop the one up the yellow over the pocket, I think. He's probably looking at doubling this in the centre. Maybe if he plays the treble, he might be able to avoid the yellow. It is the treble, and this is close.
Tell you what.
Oh, what a shot.
Tell you what.
A brilliant position as well. Let's not forget, that was a fantastic positional shot.
These two boys have come to play tonight. We've seen some absolutely cracking pull from Patty McCarran and Matt Lawrenson. Fantastic. Look at this. And he's played the treble, as Simon quite rightly said, to avoid potting the yellow in case he missed that red. He'd effectively give away the frame. So played with an element of control. And we've seen a couple of big-time clutch shots. And I feel like we could say this in so many different contexts with so many different sports, Simon, but it just makes me think, oh, I wish we had a big drunk crowd in to witness a couple of these shots that we've seen so far. The reactions would be off the scale.
It's one of the things the Shootout have done so well over the past year. They've brought a crowd to these pool events, and crowd interaction on those two big shots, one from each player, would have been absolutely fantastic.
Tell you what, it's not a bad break from Matt Lawrenson. He's not got as much obvious cue power as Paddy McCarran, but he's cueing them beautifully at the moment. What about the timing in his break? And he's a little unlucky with where the whites landed, because anywhere in the middle of the table and he's got a breeze of an opening shot. That one was a bit tougher. He's come out pretty well.
It's a good pot. Can he snick this one back to the corner? I'm not sure he can see the yellow over the bottom left, so this is a tough cutback. Could play a double if he wanted to. Double in the middle's not too bad and controllable with the white if he doesn't fancy the cutback. It is going to be the cutback, I think. Oh, it's the double, and what a double it is. Brilliant. Both these players have really come to play tonight.
We sometimes talk about doubles in the middle pocket on these tables as that, well, it's a shot that players should make, but that one was tough. That one was a really tough shot. Timing it beautifully, and the speed of the cushion in no time at all. And we've seen some fantastic shots already. Really has been such a good standard. Bit of joy to watch so far.
I like the choice there from Matt. That's good thinking there. If he takes the yellow, the obvious yellow, which was straight to the middle, he couldn't get nicely on his last yellow to get on the black. So leaving this to give himself a good chance to get on the black into the centre. Oh, that's brilliant. That is absolutely fantastic. What a visit to the table.
This has been some standard. Really has. Both players have played absolutely brilliantly. Fantastic from Matt Lawrenson. He's one away from 1-0. Just under 10 minutes to go in the sets. This is Matt Lawrenson's profile. He is from Wigan, known as the Dish. And he is British and European Junior Champion.
Both players had good junior records, actually. That was one of the features of both players in this matchup.
He's got a pretty positive looking money match record as well. 115, lost 8. There you can see some prize pots that he's competed for and indeed won and lost. Reminder that the players don't put all of the money up themselves. Backers, friends, family, followers on, investors, all can get involved to create a big prize pot.
It's one of the things we haven't really discussed so far tonight. You're absolutely right, the pots aren't made up, and so if you're playing for £2,000 like these guys are here today, Patty puts up £1,000, Matt puts up £1,000, the winner walks away with the pot. Now how the players put together their £1,000 is completely up to them. More often than not, the majority of the time it really is the player will put up a little bit themselves, and then they'll get their friends, their family, their backers, their supporters will put up the rest. And every player's split would be slightly different.
There has been some massive, massive pots.
There's been a couple of pots that have got close to the £100,000 mark. Mark Farnsworth has played a few at that sort of level. Played Ronnie McCarthy for a couple of very big pots. Recently, he played Mark Boyle, who you'll know well here on Free Sports, for around £50,000. Mark Boyle walking away with the money on that occasion.
And whilst we've been discussing that, Paddy McCarran going about this break with a lot of confidence. Been really pleased to see how both players have settled in so quickly. Really playing some good stuff. Really playing some good stuff. 4-3. Paddy McCarran keeps his chances alive of winning this first set. His nickname is Slight Breeze. That's all I've got on that one. But he is a junior world champion and 21 world champion, as well as a multiple Scottish champion. He has played 5 money matches. He has got a £25,000 pot win to his name as well.
favourite pool player, Martin McIntosh, also from Aberdeen. We'll see Martin later on this evening.
So Matt Lawrenson breaking for the first set. Needs a ball. He's not going to get one. It's a really good break as well. Patty McCarran is probably going to take this to a decider. Let's have a little look at this. Matt Lawrenson will be just thinking, drop, drop, drop. One of you drop.
Any chance, just want to play the next shot. And that's a great split, isn't it? Look at that. This has opened up really nicely. Could go reds or yellows. This time he's deciding reds, and only one red to really worry about. That's the red middle of the bottom cushion. Always looking at your problem balls and working out how you're going to land on them. Not, you know, can I solve that problem? And on this occasion, it's not that big a problem because there's a red just to the right-hand side that he can easily land on it.
Yeah, absolutely, straight on it. No problems. It's just okay. Just having a little look at the overhead there. I think he's fine, to be honest. One he is. Almost came out horribly for him, but he got enough on that cannon.
Needs a bounce. Needs a bounce. He's trying to wave it across with his cue, and that's okay. That's fine. He wants to land straight on the red at the top of the table to the top right-hand corner in an ideal world, and I think he has the gap to do that. Oh, he's not hit it. So he has to take the one in the middle of the table first. And the pot's not too bad, but the position onto the next ball is difficult because the white's going to be going towards those yellows on the left-hand side.
The pot's not there. Now then. Wasn't an easy shot. You can see he's trying to screw back here.
The thing that will really annoy him is that he'd work things out really nicely. He just had to play one careful positional shot and land on the red to the top right, the one nearest the pocket, and he just caught that yellow. That's how close he was to taking this to a deciding frame in this set.
It's quite a clever shot. And Matt Laurenson plays safe, and snooker's Patty McCarran here.
He'll be looking to try and make this one in the right centre. Oh, and he has. Brilliant. Oh, what a shot.
Tell you what, there's been some show-stopping shots tonight already. Matt would have been aware of that in laying that snooker. He'd have known that was on, but the percentage shot was absolutely the right shot to play. Them's be the breaks sometimes. Them's be the breaks sometimes.
You'd be feeling sick if you sat in Matt Lawrenson's position right now. You thought you had this set sewn up really. A great shot and a fluke. And one black away from all square.
4 apiece. We go to a decider in the first set.
Right.
Patty McCarran with quite a vocal apology there to Matt Lawrenson. I mean, quite rightly so, I suppose, Simon, but that's he'd earned the right to make the fluke, is what I'm going to say, by playing a truly brilliant shot before that. You can almost forgive him.
You can, and sometimes you get rewarded when you take on shots like this, and I don't blame Matt Lawrenson for not taking on the finish in any way. I think
he didn't have an opening. He didn't have a pot to look at, though, did he? Yeah.
It was the percentage play, and with the red being above the centre pocket, whilst you always consider your opponent's going to get out of the shot, you don't expect him to make it, because to make it, you have to go close to missing the red, because the red's quite thin. But the advantage for Patty was that if he missed the red, he would have hit the other red at the top of the table. So it was almost a bit of a freer shot that he could have taken, and then, of course, the fluke is just a very big bonus for Patty.
And now it's McCarran breaking in the final set, and he's going to get the first chance within it. And these have come out nicely. Well,
best break of the set. That is huge. So much power.
Well. Yellows have got to be the play. Trying to line up difficulties for him, Simon. I don't think there's too many. If he can just hold his nerve, this should be 1-0.
I was just thinking he didn't want that cannon, but he's landed in a position where he can take this in the centre pocket, so that sorts that problem out. If he had to take the one to the top left, it would have been difficult to get a nice position on the next ball. Yeah, there isn't any problems on the table. Even when he goes up for the yellow at the top of the table, there's just no traffic.
Absolute dream of a break to hit that in a deciding frame.
Well, this is difficult, actually. Well, it's not difficult, but if he tries to play for the yellow in the centre pocket next, he's not likely to finish with a nice angle on it, so he may go up the table. Yeah, he's gone up the table first, which just adds to the trickiness a little bit. He has the angle if he wants to come back down the table, try and get the white tracking towards the black, but he could, if he wanted to, leave the yellow to the bottom left corner, more controllable. And he's gone for the middle. Oh, is he snookered himself?
Slow down, he tells it, slow down.
It's a snooker, but I think he can still swerve around this and make this. It's still a controllable enough shot.
Half a ball roll.
Here we go.
Time out, please.
Okay, so I was wondering whether he was going to use his extension, because neither player have used theirs yet, but he's just asked the referee to check whether it's a total or not.
Foul.
Tough shot.
One free shot, one missing. Time.
It's such a fine line, this game. Half a roll less, and it's the easiest tap-in 2 balls for the set. He knew it the minute he hit it. Watch his hand. He is asking it to slow down. He is pleading for it to slow down, but it goes that half a roll too far. And it's his chance gone.
Extension called.
Matt Lawrenson uses extension. Absolutely perfect time to do it as well. Gives himself a little bit of time to think about it. It's not come out ideal.
No, it's a slightly slightly careless shot. Wanted to catch that red on the bottom cushion. Full ball. Yellow would stay on the bottom cushion, the red would pop into open play, and he should have a routine finish. Now he's got to work. Oh, he's missed his cannon, so he's still working.
Heck of a pot, though.
Good pot, yeah, and shows the confidence he's feeling out there. All the pressure in the world on this visit to the table. And
I was just thinking he may lay the snooker from here. He's got the perfect angle to do it. Just replace that red ball. So in a way, he can recover the mistake that he made on that free shot, because it wasn't a great one.
Well, that was good. That was a good snooker as well. He had to make sure that that red hit the right-hand side cushion, otherwise it would have been a foul, because you have to hit contact with the cushion after contact with the object ball.
McCarran calls his extension. Not long left on the set clock. McCarran misses it. Now then, Matt Lawrenson has a minute to finish this. You can see the frustration for Paddy McCarran.
As Matt got wrapped up in the frame situation, I wonder whether he's really focusing. I was, to be honest, I was wrapped up in the fit situation of the frame and wasn't noticing the.
Yeah, he's run out of time.
Yeah, he's not thinking about the set at all. He has completely lost the match clock here. It's going to be a drawn set. He is. Yeah, this is a big mistake here from Matt.
It's going to be a drawn set, which essentially makes the next set our decider. He's spotted that okay. It'd be interesting to see Matt Lawrenson's reaction.
He hasn't realised yet. Oh, there you can
now
see
he does.
it. Oh, it's horrible.
Now he does. Paddy McCarran's giving him a little bit of stick, I think.
Oh, that's incredible. He really should have taken that out. He should be 1-0 up, but it is a drawn set.
Well, both our players can share a smile about it. I think Matt Lawrenson's doing so begrudgingly. Our second set now is a decider, and it's next.
I thought the racket was on it.
Welcome back. Shootout, Showdown. Paul here for you on Free Sports, and some drama, Simon, at the end of our first set between Paddy McCarran and Matt Lawrenson. Absolutely incredible. We saw such an amazing set of pool, 4 frames each heading into the final frame. Plenty of time on the watch as well when the frame begun, but not towards the end. Matt Lawrenson not keeping an eye on the match clock and running out of time to clear the set away. What an opportunity missed.
And he knows it as well. He knows he should have won that set. He had the cue ball in hand. He had a fairly routine clearance and didn't pay any attention to the match clock. To be honest with you, I'm sat in the commentary box and I didn't notice the match clock get away from us. It's just the way the match, I was so engrossed in the frame, and I think both players were. I don't even think Paddy McCarran realised that he was going to get a draw out of it. So we've now got a dynamic where you can see him reacting.
Look at the celebration!
So we've now got a dynamic where Paddy's actually really happy to get away with it, and Matt is absolutely furious with himself because he knows he should be 1-0 up.
Well, as you can see, what an amazing let-off for Paddy McCarran. Look at the celebration when he realises. But having said that, it's quite funny as well, because we heard ourselves as it ended, Simon. We heard Paddy say that he was making the same mistake. He didn't realise either. It's an amazing finish. But what it does set up now is essentially decided whoever wins this set will take away the prize pot. If the set's drawn again, well, we just go to the tiebreaker as we would have done ordinarily in a 1-1 scenario. Remarkable set in so many different ways.
Brilliant set. What a way to kick off our money match pool here on Free Sports. It was brilliant. Both players played a really good standard of pool. We saw 2 or 3 absolutely top draw shots to recover situations, and some great drama at the end. That is everything we wanted to see, and I hope it continues.
Yeah, and it's not just the fact that we've seen a few sort of outrageous shots when problems have been created. What we have seen is a lot of really high caliber pool on this table tonight. And we've watched several matches now in the Super Series between really established players, top-ranking professionals on the tour, and at times they've not been able to produce this sort of standard. So full credit to these players here for coming, and the first few frames on the boards that they're putting out there, top draw.
Yeah, really pleased for both players. I'm really pleased they both was able to settle down and turn up with their best pool. Just knocked that black safe. Looked like it was going to come out in the open nicely enough for him. I think it's just gone half a roll too far. So his problems have built up here, and he's massively odds against making this clearance because the 2 reds at the top of the table aren't nice either.
A little bit of work then for Paddy McCarran here. He's got a problem at the top left of the table as well. He might be painting himself into a corner here. The longer he chases this, if it doesn't come out, the less likely he is to win the frame.
He's building himself up for a big skill shot. Red onto yellow, needs the red to follow the yellow in, and this yellow's just far enough away from the pocket to cause a problem here. This is a tough shot.
Doesn't get it. Has to be so precise. That was high tariff. Really was. What we always say with the skill shot is it pretty much has to match the ball width. It has to match 100% full contact, and it will follow in. Anything marginally, millimetre right, millimetre left, it's not going to go. And I'm just seeing there with Paddy McCarran, so difficult to do from that sort of range. You want to be right behind it if possible, and not too much distance to cover.
I agree, and you get the sense as a pool player, you look at the table and you think that's a skill shot you fancy the player making, and you get ones like that one, and I just thought he was odds against making it. The way that yellow was just far enough away from the pocket, I mean you haven't got any room for margin for error anyway, but what you do have is taken away when the yellow's far, that even an inch away from the pocket. It was a tough shot that he wasn't able to come up with.
Tell you what, Matt Lawrenson's quietly gone about his work very well with his counter clearance here. First 2 shots were really nicely done. Opened his yellows up beautifully to make the remaining shots something of a doddle. Really smooth, and good to see he's recovered well after what we have to say is a mistake at the end of the last set. He doesn't want it to be a match-defining one.
Both players have got reason to be annoyed with themselves. Okay, Paddy might feel more relief because his mistake came earlier, but Paddy should have won that frame as well, and in turn the set.
For 1-0. in the decider. Matt Lawrenson nails it. 1-zip. First to 5 will take away £2 grand. Coming up for you on Free Sports. Next we have Steve Smart taking on Martin McIntosh. That for the prize of £3,000. Our main event this evening.
Cracking matchup. Martin all but ever present in the shootout events. We saw him playing some brilliant pool in Aberdeen where he was doing a lot behind the scenes as well, and Steve Smart, it will be a first taste of this style of pool. A fantastic player in his own right.
Interesting there to see Patty almost deliberately guiding his break a little bit more. See how far his cue went down. It's almost as if he was fully following through to make sure he cued it properly. He didn't over-hit it. He's breaking really, really well. Both players are, but that's really, really good stuff.
I now think this is a really important visit for Patty. These have opened up so well. This is about as good as it gets, really, in terms of having a chance to break and dish, and having not made the clearance in the previous frame, although it was tough, and with the mistake in the previous set. I think he needs this to remind himself that he can still play, and he's still very much in this match. If he makes a mistake here and goes 2-0 behind, it could be a tough set. Just has to make sure he doesn't get stuck behind the black. Easy to quit on this shot. No problems.
To square things up in no time at all, Patty McCarran makes it 1-1. Beautifully done. Clear both players, the banter's flying between themselves and our referee. Might be an idea to turn the microphones down in the arena. I know what those two are capable of. This is what we've got coming up for you tomorrow on Free Sports. Oh, what a match it should be. The Super Series final. Gareth Hibbert and Alex O'Donoghue square off for the title tomorrow night. Really, really good competition. This really enjoyed it over the course of the last couple of months. Both players have played some magnificent stuff on this table, and it all concludes tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, here on Free Sports. Oh, that's really unlucky. Let's have another watch of this. That's unlucky. He'll feel he's unlucky, but in the same sense will be a bit annoyed at himself for having the cue ball tracked towards that top corner. Always invites that element. But it still is a rotten bit of luck from Matt Lawrenson there. Chance for Patty McCarran to double down on the punishment after his clearance in the last frame.
He will be sick with that. He will feel, I know what you're saying about the white going close to the corner pocket, and it was going close enough that you caused some problems potentially, but it was far enough away that you've got every right to feel annoyed and upset with that poor piece of luck. And what it's done, though, is it's just given Patty McCarran a free shot, opened things up, and this is similar to his previous visit to the table. He's probably got one decent positional shot to play. He'll definitely be wanting to leave the yellow to the left centre as his last ball, so that he could just drop it in, land nicely on the black to the bottom left corner. If he doesn't manage to do that, he could take the black into the centre off the yellow at the bottom of the table, but it would be a second choice. Wants to slide by the red. Nicely done.
He's got a lovely flowy cue action, Patty McCarran. It enables those screw shots to really become quite beautiful, actually.
And that's perfect as well. Easy to overdo that screw shot and just get a little bit off angle. You can just track behind the black, and it has been a perfect visit to the table. Just the finishing touches required.
Really, really smooth. See what I mean though, don't you, Simon? Plays with his bridge hand a long way away from the ball, just gets the cue arm flowing. Really natural cue artist.
Very natural indeed. It's always eye-catching when a player has that sort of long bridge hand. Sometimes it's not ideal for pool for those soft screws and cannons, but it's very much a way of cueing that is very good on the eye.
Well, here we see the stats so far, and it's been pretty smooth from both players. No missed pots for Matt Lawrenson as yet, but he did have 2 crucial runs out of position, which cost him 1 frame in the first set. And Patty McCarran, there you can see, having the better of the chances. Way more balls potted, despite only 1 frame difference so far in this match. Lovely break again from McCarran. He really is breaking well. Could see that in the stats. He's giving himself opportunities. And in the decider for £2,000, all you want is an opportunity. Oh no! Well, Patty McCarran looks questionably at that middle pocket.
We've talked about these middle pockets.
That's unlucky.
Those of you that have been, it's a little bit unlucky, but those of you that have been with us with the Super Series throughout will have heard us talk about these middle pockets, how precise you have to be. That missed by, well, just a fraction. If there's less pace on that, it won't hit that jaw and bounce back out. It just had too much pace and to really drop on that knuckle. Beautiful tables, these black ball tables. This one in particular really plays beautifully. But the dynamic of the table is that centre pockets are a little bit tighter than other brands of table that are played in the pool world. It's actually something I really like about the table.
Yeah, there's no gimmies in the middle pockets at all. It does play true, but it definitely plays tight. And shots like that have to be bang on. It's just a fraction off Patty McCarran. All it takes. And Matt Lawrenson has swept straight in.
Okay, so Matt's accepted poor position on the yellow in terms of it's a bad angle to land nicely on the black. I wondered whether he would risk trying to track down towards the black to make it easier position, because he was guaranteed to go into those reds, and the black won't go into the left centre, but it does go to the top left corner nicely enough.
Yeah, he was praying that he wasn't going to end up snookered as he careered towards that cluster of reds, but he's come out nice, and the black, despite wiping its feet in the top corner, drops. And we're all square once again. 2-2. Heart in the mouth moment. But he's all clear. Oh, it's been a great match so far, Simon. Really, really impressed with the standard from these pair in particular. At this stage in the match, how are you feeling? Because they're going to be starting to feel the pressure now.
They really are. For me, I think that the break is perhaps possibly going Patty's way, although he's just missed a couple more balls. But Matt's still breaking well himself. It's a pretty even number of chances, and this really could go down to the wire. We could see another drawn set the way this is really playing out.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Matt Laurenson is going to have a ball. Every single break now is so big. There is a maximum of 5 frames left. Might not even see all 5. And that's going to use his extension. He just wants to figure this first shot out. He knows it's a great split. And he might be revving himself up here to have to play a really, really good shot.
It's not the first time tonight that he's got a good split of the balls, but hasn't landed nicely on his first pot.
Oh, clutch shot.
Clutch is the word. With that layout, he would have felt that's the pot for the frame. Of course, he still has to put the work on afterwards, but he would have definitely felt that if he misses that pot, he's massive danger of going behind and losing the frame.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that was the pot for the frame for either player, really. The split's so good, can't really foresee Matt running into too much danger.
As always in the pool world, it is about the order you take the balls, just trying to work out which way would make things easier. This is fairly natural. There's not a huge gap to land on the red to the bottom left, but there's enough. nice. I think he's got just enough angle that he could come back down the right-hand side. May look to go to the left-hand side of the black, but he has the option.
Played this really well so far. Both players are making this game look so easy tonight under the pressure of the match, pressure of the shot clock.
You just saw him, and he's going to snip himself.
Oh no, Mads!
Well, you just saw him come round and have a look at the black to the left centre, and then he looked quickly for the left corner, which suggests it's very tight to the centre and very tight to the corner. And so he's tried to play that with the check side to come up past the yellow to take the black to the opposite corner. And actually, it's probably he's got good solid contact, but it's not going to drop. It's actually the position onto his last ball. He purposely played to leave himself that angle, and he could have got straighter on that if he wanted to, and that's caused the problem.
Well, just when I was bigging both players up, the mistake lands. It's so often the way. Halfway point of the set. 15 minutes, just under now, left of this match. Whichever comes first, 5 frames for a player, or the clock striking 0. That will signal the end of this match. Remember, if the frames total is level, we will go to a 1-frame decider.
I like that choice from Patty. I wondered whether he'd come down the table and try and get on into the centre pocket, but if he hadn't have landed right behind it, it becomes a difficult shot, so backs himself to make it down the rail. Oh, he's cueing well, isn't he? Both players playing with a lot of confidence out there, really striking it nicely, but it is Patty McCarran that takes the lead.
This is the big shot. And you questioned the shot before, Simon.
Yeah, if I was in his position, and I was thinking, I actually said it about the position, about trying to come down the right-hand side of the table. There wasn't as much room to land on his last ball, but if he could have got close to the black, almost target the black as a positional shot on the previous ball, then he lands straighter on that ball, because the black didn't go to the left-hand side of the table. He had to land on the black to the right-hand side, and it would have just made things easier. So this shot here, I'd have been wanting to get my position just where his hand is, so almost target hitting the black full ball. You still would have been on the red, but you'd been on the red to be able to come up the left-hand side of the table.
Oh, now then. Now then. Patty McCarran comes up dry. He's been braking like a train for the last half hour or so. But that one's come up dry. The split again is pretty good. Is Matt Lawrenson going to tie things up again? It's been such an even game, this one. Been great entertainment.
One red that's causing a problem. He needs some nice positional play at the bottom half of the table. The red to the top left is not a problem, but the red to the... Oh, he's gone straight after it, and that's not ideal, although he still has a shot. He would have preferred to cannon the yellow full ball, because it would have left the red over the right centre pocket, but at least he has a shot. I think he has to take it now as well.
Yeah, has to. Not easy, awkward bridging. He's played that really well. Really good shot.
He's yet to miss the ball tonight. His mistakes have all been positional.
Potting has been clean. With that positional shot, very precise as well.
Just about okay. He may have to play this next shot with an awful lot of check side to hold the white. The natural angle's taking it up the table, and he hasn't got much room for manoeuvre. Lots and lots of right-hand side, and that's fine. I think the natural angle of this is just going to go up the left-hand side of the table, and the black shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, that's nice. Nice control. Really well worked out and executed finish this. Just the black to go.
Well, less than 12 minutes remaining. We're all square. 3-all. This is a great match.
Loving this. Both players are really treating us to some great pool. You know, they make a mistake and you think, oh, is it going to be a problem? Is there going to be a bit of a change in momentum? And then they respond with another brilliant finish from the break, and that's exactly what Matt's done here.
I'll remind you what we've got coming up tomorrow. The Super Series concludes here on Free Sports. This is everything we've seen so far in the Super Series competition. It has led us to Gareth Hibbert against Alex O'Donoghue in tomorrow night's final. Join us at 6 o'clock tomorrow, the conclusion of the Super Series.
I cannot wait for that match. It's been a brilliant event, and I'm looking forward to the final.
Oh, now Lawrenson going for the cut break. Got the black on the move right up towards the top of the table. Do you know what, Simon? I'm really surprised either player has changed their breaks, because they both seem to be striking it pretty well. It's a big decision to make at this stage in the match.
It is, especially he didn't hit that cut break very well at all. Look at it, it's a messy little table, messy little finish. He did get the black in motion, but it wasn't the best quality of contact. And whilst I'm surprised because of how well he was striking the break, I'm not surprised because of his results. He's had more poor results off the break than good results. Even the times he has made a ball, it's been a tough opening shot.
Well, a double kiss from McCarran actually leaves him pretty safe in the end, I think. Although, just looking at that overhead, there is a yellow that will go to the middle pocket, should Matt want to take this on.
It's two tough yellows, ones he's nearest to. So even if he makes this, it's a tough finish, but he misses it.
It's his first missed pot of the match.
Certainly is. Interesting choice, but I don't suppose he really had much of a safety option on, and it's the rule set. It promotes attacking ball. Both players want to play attacking ball, and if you can't see a good safety shot, then you feel like you should take it on.
Oh, now then. That's a really poor shot from Patty. Got the double kiss again, but on this occasion it's not come out nicely. He did not want that at all. Wanted to leave the white ball, I think, behind the black is what he was trying to play. And getting the double kiss, this has opened it up for Matt.
I think he felt he had some freedom. You know, I think those two yellows to the bottom left-hand corner, he felt it giving him a little bit of freedom in this frame. I do question whether the top one of those two does go to the bottom left-hand corner, and if it does, then he's got a ball to open up the bad ball. Yeah, that one does go. It's not a full pocket, but I think that does sneak by the red.
He's just going to move them. Now, does that yellow pass the red? I don't think it does.
He may look just to try and get this in front of the red, block up the pocket. He wants to pull back and not go for a finish.
I think it's the only shot he can play,
or is it
really.
Double. Red's got in the way. Yeah, that probably wasn't quite on.
I think the yellow is going in, you know. Yeah, that's home. It's a little unlucky.
He was just trying to slide by the red and not go into it. Just got too much of it.
This is on now.
That has opened things up for Patty. All the reds have a pocket. 8 minutes 40 left on the clock.
We've seen some really quick clearances in shootout history, particularly as the clock ticks towards 0. We've seen from this position 4 frames won already, happened in the Super Series in round 2, I think. Sean Storey from 4-1 down when he's set 5-4 with this amount of time on the clock.
It's quite breathtaking. One of the best 8 minutes of pool I've ever seen.
Of course, if we were to see 3 frames, that would mean we've gone all the way to a decider. Don't think we'll have enough time for that. I think both players are just starting to feel it a little bit. Oh, and that's going to jam.
I was just starting to think, I think he's gone about the finish in a strange way, and then he goes and misses this pot. There isn't much room for the red he was playing on to go to the bottom or the top corner as we look from the overhead, and any contact on his other red would have just knocked things awkward. So that's probably a slight pattern mistake before the missed pot, and that has put Matt Lawrenson into the driving seat in this frame.
Yeah, Matt's now a big favourite to win the frame. Especially now. It's a good effort from Patty. He's tried to play a double. If he'd have potted the reds and then potted the yellow, he'd have been absolutely fine. But as you can see, the red didn't pass the yellow into the middle. And a shot and a visit here for Matt Lawrenson to clear this out to go and win the frame.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Knocks a yellow safe in the process of potting his first ball. So he's gone from being favourite for the frame to being second favourite, although, of course, the skill shot is an option.
He may even have to play a pretty tough plant in the process. Yeah, played that nicely. Now then, can he find a way to either pot that red or get the yellow out? He's going for the skill shot, I think.
So Patty had a very similar skill shot 2 or 3 frames ago, and he missed it by some distance. This time it is slightly easier for Max. That red is right on the edge of the pocket. Oh, it's not going to drop though. It's not going to drop, and that is a big chance gone.
Time out, please.
Well, this frame has been, in some ways, the sloppiest of the match because we've seen more mistakes and more handovers of frame possession almost. But in many other ways, it's been real drama.
Extension call.
Patty's going to call his extension. Wants to think about this. He knows how big this frame is.
He has to move the black, the red that's below the black. No, he's going to play the skill shot. Well, he's not. He doesn't need to play a skill shot. He can play red onto yellow and just leave the red over the pocket. He's thinking, I'd be tempted to play off the red and try and land on the red at the bottom of the table, because, and the reason I'm saying that is because this next positional shot, this is not guaranteed.
This is all about pace control.
Where's the white?
Oh, dear.
And he's conceded the frame. I'm not surprised to see that happen. I would have preferred to see Patty just play off that first red. You could brush off it, come down the right-hand side of the table with a lot more control from his first shot, and then leave the red somewhere near the middle pocket to make the clearance from there. He's seen it a different way, and actually, you know, it's a poor shot to go in off, but he's an inch away from being perfect on the red, so it's hard to be too harsh on him.
Yeah, and conceding the frame, actually quite a savvy move from Patty in some ways. It might just buy him 30 seconds later on down the line to potentially go and win the match. He does now need to win the next 2 frames to win this match outright. 5 minutes left. I think we may have time for a decider if it comes that way. Oh no. Well, that's the last thing that Patty McCarran wanted. The last thing.
1 free shot, 1 visit.
Going in off the break and handing a shot and a visit to Matt Lawrenson from this position. Oh, it's a bad time for that to happen.
It's about 30 seconds of pull here for Patty McCarran, really is. His break's been deadly all night, but that's a poor one. White straight into the corner. And this is the opportunity that Matt Lawrenson has been looking for.
This has to be the match. It's now or never really for Matt Lawrenson at this stage. This is a real gimme of a clearance for a player that's of his level. Just needs to hold his nerve, and he will take away the £2,000 prize pot.
It was a bad mistake in the opening set. Took his time on a clearance to win the set and ran out of time on the match or the set clock, as we have a look at the money they're playing for.
Not all of it.
Not all of it, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Foul.
Oh no!
1 free
no.
shot, 1 visit.
Just had to hold his nerve.
How has that happened? He hasn't come far enough, so he's just tried to swerve round the edge of this ball and gets too much on it too early. And that's a very bad mistake. That's almost as bad as the mental error in the first set.
Oh, that's unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Of all the times to do that.
We could be heading to a deciding tie-break frame.
Can only assume that's pressure, because it was such a simple clearance.
The shot onto that ball, so he didn't quite come far enough down the table, something we didn't quite notice as we were looking at the money on the table, and that's the shot that will probably be annoying him more than the miss swerve, because he had acres of room.
Yeah.
And he's come up short, maybe getting a little bit tight because he knew that was the moment.
Well, this is going to be so interesting, because assuming Patty makes these, and he should clear this away here to make it 4-4, we will have time for a deciding frame. There won't be much left on the clock. Be about, I reckon, 90 seconds there or thereabouts, if Patty clears these in a pretty timely fashion. Remember, the clock will stop for when our referee Donna Evans re-racks for the final frame. So 2 good shots required, 2 simple shots required for Patty McCarran. Pretty much guaranteed position. Just hold your nerve, just make sure. Just make sure. He knows he doesn't have the break in the final frame, and that's why I think he just wants to stall a little bit. He's thinking about it either way. Just get your frame on the board, Patty. There we go, 145 then.
Frame.
This is the shot, Simon. He had so much room there, Matt. So much room.
He could even overhit it and still be fine. He'd be on the reds at the bottom of the table. He might even, I mean, in this situation,
He could overhit that by 2 feet and be okay.
Absolutely, and it's a poor shot to come up that short. And yeah, he just put himself under pressure. He still knows he should have made that little swerve shot as well, but it's the shot before that will be annoying him the most. And sometimes these sorts of things just get on your mind. He's sit there, he knows he should have won the first set, and now he knows he should have won the second set, and now he's facing potentially a quick fire finish for the match, or maybe even a tie-break situation.
The next 1 minute and 43 seconds is worth 2,000 quid. Matt Lawrenson with the break, wants to make a ball, nearly goes in off. Nearly had the black on the move as well. He does make a ball. Now then, get your skates on, Matt. Clear up. And the prize pot is yours. Goodness me, that was nearly a golden duck. Can you imagine?
It was nearly a golden break, nearly a golden duck, and now he's finished in the situation where he's landed awkward on his first ball.
3-ball plant to open things up, maybe. Just a 2. And the table now looks a lot more open. 111, there's no chance after what happened in the first set that he's not keeping every single bit of focus on 2 things, the table and the match clock.
So he's got 1 ball to work out, and he's just slid by it. There's that red that's sort of nearest the left centre pocket. I'm not sure that goes to the bottom left-hand corner. It's obvious pocket. He has got other pockets for it, but it's not as easy to land on it there. Oh, he's finished off angle. He's going to have to take this to the bottom right corner.
He's landed on it now.
Not sure it goes to the centre. This is to the corner. Oh, yes.
Oh, I tell you what. He's going to be off angle, though. Getting on the black is not going to be easy. He's got 20 seconds to clear these 2. 20 seconds for 2 grand. He's going to have a shot. 10 seconds on the watch. Difficult pot. £2,000 if he nails it. How about it, Matt Lawrenson?
Oh.
But he's got it off! Oh, I don't believe it! I do not believe what I've just seen. I do not believe what I've just seen.
Complete shock. That is very unfortunate for Matt. He just finished slightly the wrong side of his last ball, knew that he was going to have to leave a tough black, and this is really unlucky. That's so unfortunate, and both players will be there feeling sick about that, the way it finished. Patty will be happy to get the win, but you never feel happy when you win a match that way.
Oh my goodness. I've lost all composure. That is an absolutely remarkable finish. £2,000 on the line, one shot. He nails the tricky pot, but the white's in off and the match is lost. We'll talk about this more in a second. Back after the break. Welcome back to the Free Sports Super. We've got to address this, Simon. That's one of the most dramatic finishes to a shootout match that there's ever been on telly. That was utterly remarkable.
Brilliant, absolutely everything in that match. Feel absolutely sick for Matt, but what a finish that was. It was a brilliant clearance from Matt, and the time pressure for the match to come up with this finish was absolutely excellent. But this is the shot where it started to go wrong. That ball was a problem all the way through the finish, and he lands on it nicely enough, but this time he's off angle. He's going towards the middle pocket and not going towards the black, and you can see he just catches the knuckle. Without the knuckle, the white ends up in the top half of the table, and then he doesn't have to hit this next shot as hard, and that's obviously, it's still really unlucky to going off, but you never want the white to be flying around the table, although he is still incredibly unlucky.
It's tough to watch that, it really is, and that's all without the factor that the shot clock was ticking. There was about 5 seconds left of it when Matt took that shot on. It was a deciding shot for the match, but in the end it is Paddy McCarran who wins the £2,000 prize pot. I'd like to say Paddy joins us now. Paddy, the first question I have for you, mate, is what can you describe to me your emotions right the second as you realised that the black's gone in and the white's travelling towards the corner pocket? Did you turn away? Did you think it was all over? Did you see the white go in?
I don't actually know. I can't remember. I think once I seen the black go in and I seen it travelling down the middle, there was a yellow route near black spot-ish. As soon as he's hit it, I've looked at Matt for his reaction, and straight away it told me that it's travelling towards the pocket. And if I'm genuinely honest, I felt so sorry for him, because I think the match probably deserved a 4-4 and probably the shootout frame, if I'm honest.
Congratulations, Patty. That was the drama at the end aside. You still played an incredible match. It was really impressive to see how well you were queuing with lots of authority. You must be pleased with the way you played. I am. I'm very pleased. I genuinely felt in the match I one or two mistakes, obviously, but I thought as a whole the standard of the match was like unbelievable, especially when we've had such a break with the lockdown, etc. You know, I thought both of us played exceptionally well. There was a lot of clearances off either breaks and stuff.
Yeah, how pleased are you with how that match went? Because there's a lot of talk on social media before this game, a lot of build-up and pressure in its own way towards it. Obviously, no fans in to heckle you and give the reactions that some of those magic shots probably deserved. But how did you cope with the pressure of the fact that it was on TV and there was no distractions, the microscope was just on you two?
Regarding TV, I actually quite enjoy it. I feel it's when I try and perform my best. You know, I feel as though I'm capable of doing it. You know, with the no spectators, I quite like noise. I do. I like the noise in the background stuff. But the match it felt so quick. You didn't really have much time to think, if I'm honest.
And what about the format? It's the first time I've certainly seen, and we've seen on Free Sports, any money matches, but a money match in a shootout format. Did it feel different to your other money matches?
Of course, yeah, because you can see on a few occasions that you're running out of time, you're making a wrong decision. For instance, at 3-3 and I've got the ball in hand with the two reds left, what am I doing? But that's the time pressure. I even took my extension and still couldn't fully commit to what I wanted to do, so that's a difference.
Well, just before we let you go, talk us through your emotions, not just at the end of the second set, which was pretty dramatic, but at the end of the first, when, of course, Matt ran out of time as he was hoping for that finish. I need to ask you, mate, did you realise that the clock was ticking down and just had to stay as quiet as possible, or were you also caught out?
I most certainly thought I was 1-0 down. And then I heard the dong, dong. I thought, wait a minute, I've got a draw here. So that was a bigger relief getting the half of the first set than the second set, to be honest, because the way it ended.
Yeah, absolutely incredible ending, incredible drama, and we've so enjoyed having you along today, Patty. A huge congratulations on the win and the purse as well, mate.
Thank you very much.
Well, that was absolutely remarkable, Simon. And an incredible performance from Patty. And it's worth pointing that out as well, because there's a lot of questions ahead of this match. What would the standard be like? Would we see the same sort of standard that we've become accustomed to with some of the top pros in the game gracing this table? I'd say the pair of them absolutely delivered. That was a really, really high quality match.
What you need to have a really good quality money match is to have two very competitive players, two players at a very similar level, and both these players are that, and they both played brilliantly well tonight. I'm so pleased to see both players play really well and showcase what they can do on this stage. I'm absolutely devastated for Matt, because you never want to lose a match in that fashion, but he should still be very proud of the way he played.
Yeah, we just see on the screen here some of the highlights from the match, and particularly in that first set, Simon, some of the shots that they were pulling off are absolutely ludicrous. And the thing is ordinarily some of these shots, this is of course an absolute fluke, but before that the thing is a lot of these big shots come because of mistakes that were made. They've run out of position. A couple of times that happened, but also the general standard was really high up there, and then it had the almost icing on the cake of these magic doubles that sometimes went their way.
It's just impossible to play perfect pool in this format of the game. We've seen some pretty close impressions through the Super Series with some of the top players, some of the legends of the game, showcasing what they can do in this format. But we've also seen those same players, struggle. You finish slightly off angle. You haven't got time to rework out your pattern, come up with something else. So you're often having to come up with these big shots with no time to think about it. You just have to go on instinct. And what we saw tonight was both players playing well, but also when they did finish slightly out of position, they came up with those magic shots.
An amazing match, an absolutely amazing match for a £2,000 prize purse. We went all the way in both of our sets. The full distance was taken, drama all the way to the end, with one of the most dramatic endings we'll ever see in a shootout match. And I just have one question for you, Simon. Do you fancy another one?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. Sounds like a plan. Martin McIntosh is taking on Steve Smart next for £3,000. And earlier, Simon caught up with both.
Martin, great to have you here. You're renowned as a money match player. What is it about money matches that you prefer over the tournaments?
I think it's a longer format, longer races, so many swings and roundabouts. You can be down, claw the game back, and just like the longer races. But obviously this time it's quick fire, so it's got to be different again.
Well, I've been playing money matches now probably since I was about 20 odd. It's just always been a great buzz for me, and it feels like, because pool's one of those brutal sports where if you're playing first to 5 like you do in snooker, you can do nothing wrong and lose, whereas a longer format you sort of tend to get the better player come out on top.
Does the size of the pot that you're playing for make any difference to the amount of pressure that you feel?
Not now, it did before, but I've played the biggest of the biggest pots and kind of used to it now, so size of the pot doesn't really bother me anymore.
Tough question, but I would probably say no, because I tend to get more nervous in a local Trowbridge League pool where I'm from than I do playing for big pots, which I have no idea why. It's more of I think I've got to prove a point to everyone. But so yeah, I would say that definitely doesn't make any difference to me.
Normally you're playing with a big crowd with all your money matches. Tonight there is no crowd. Does that change the dynamic, and does the live TV add to it?
That will. I kind of grow off the crowd. I've got a good team behind me. Definitely going to be different with the silence tonight, but fingers crossed we can get the win.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, this setup feels like you're playing at home. So at the moment it would feel more like a practice match, but I'm sure that once the cameras all go in and everything's on, but when I play away games, I always sort of get spurred on by the opponent's crowd, whereas this is going to be a bit of a strange situation to be in.
And thoughts on your opponent tonight? Steve Smart, great player?
Yeah, he's twice the player the guy I was going to be playing, so Steve, I've watched Steve a few times, so it's got to be a tough game anyway. I think I'm seemingly second favourite now, but I'm up for it and I'll win.
Best of luck.
Cheers, Simon.
Yeah, I think he's underestimating himself big time against me. He thinks that I'm the favourite, but I don't know. I think he's got more experience in this type of format, and I would say it's a 50-50 game. So I'm looking forward to it.
Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, there's our two players, Simon, and let's first talk about Steve Smart, a player that you know pretty well from your neck of the woods. What can we expect from Steve?
Steve's one of the most underrated, or probably not underrated, but under the radar players in the world of pool right now. He's a phenomenal pool player. I've got to see him a lot. I played with him for Wiltshire. I've played against him many times in local events, and he has shown what he can do a few times around the country, but probably not as much as other players. And his opponent tonight, Martin, is one of the players that absolutely doesn't go under the radar. He is absolutely out there, really showcasing what he can do regularly in the money match scene. And yeah, it is going to be a fascinating matchup. They talked about it a little bit there on interview. I would give the edge to Steve. I think Steve probably does have that level, but he's never played in this format of the game, and we've seen Martin push Jordan Shepherd all the way in this format, and if you can do that, then you can really play.
Yeah, although he's not gone too far on the lag there. Well, you talk about Steve Smart going under the radar. Absolutely no chance that Martin McIntosh is flying under the radar with those trousers. The pool gets back underway for £3,000. It's Martin McIntosh versus Steve Smart, and it's next. Welcome back to Free Sports, live pool on your screens on this Monday evening, and myself and Simon have just about settled down after our first match of the night, which genuinely one of the best matches we may see for a very long time, Simon. It was that good. But now all of our attention here is on Martin McIntosh and Steve Smart. They are playing for £3,000. If you're just joining us, shootout rules, black ball rules are in play. Half-hour set clocks as we see our first break of the match, and Steve has just gone straight in off the break, so the game's first chance will go to the man in the tartan trousers, Martin McIntosh.
It's going to be difficult for us to catch our breath, the viewers at home to catch their breath, but also these two players. They've been sat in a different part of this building, watching it on TV, and they will know how exciting that was, and I'm sure that would have added to the nerves before they go out there as well. So they'll be itching to get going and to get their cue arms going.
Wasn't just the drama, the standard of play between both players for the entirety of that match was so impressive. It really was. And interesting to see Martin really back himself straight from the gun here, really. He had a free shot and a visit, and didn't mess about with trying to break up balls or try and develop anything, just went straight for the clearance. Just shows he's a confident player.
Martin's a fascinating character, he really is. He's a very big social media persona, really tries to get himself out there. I think the way he is on the table, or the way he is internally, is probably slightly different. He really cares out there. He really is. He wants to not just win matches, but he wants to play well. He wants to showcase his skills. He wants people to say he's played really well there. And I've really warmed to Martin over the last couple of years. I think he's a great lad. He does a lot for the game, and I hope he plays well tonight.
That was a tough shot. Really tough shot. Left himself hampered, and that shot was tough enough. Queuing clean. Queuing over this yellow added to the tariff of it. And in the end, he's missed that by quite a way. And this is a really open table here for Steve Smart, who has a chance to atone for going in off the break.
So Steve's giving some thought to playing a skill shot. Problem with a skill shot, you won't land on your next ball, so he may just look to play really tight position onto the one awkward ball he has on the table, which is the one nearest the bottom right corner. And that's what he's done. He's actually played for it in the centre pocket off the red. So he's just lining it up now. Steve Smart's probably a player that many watching here on Free Sports won't know that much about. Well, he's a slightly loose shot from him, although it's not the worst second prize in terms of leaving the red safe. But Steve is a fantastic player from the Wiltshire area. As I said in the build-up to the match, will go under the radar in the pool world, but he is a fantastic player.
Well, he's got a shot, Martin McIntosh. He's done well to get the red, to get the white rather exactly where he's managed to. We saw some magnificent doubling in our first match. That's the standard that's been set. Not quite. Wasn't easy. Saw one. Because now this should be there for Steve Smart.
Just looking for a little nudge. He would have wanted about an extra half a roll on that yellow just to make it really simple into the centre pocket. When you look at this from the overhead, you realise how tight that is.
I'm not even convinced that even drops. He'd want to be right behind it.
He wants to be right behind it and playing it with no pace, which means I don't think he can leave the one near the black as his last ball, because I don't think it passes the black. Well, he's left this thin. Oh, he's going to go. Yeah, I think he's going to try and snick this into the right centre. Left it thin purposely so the white will naturally come across the table to the left-hand side. But that was going to be tough. That was going to be very tough.
Oh, he's unlucky. He's unlucky. Had to play it at that pace, Martin McIntosh, and Steve Smart has had quite a few bites of the cherry in this opening frame. Went in off, made a couple of errors, and it still looks like he's going to have the chance here to mop up. A little bit of a let-off for Steve Smart, but he goes 1-0 up. A player, Simon, you really rate.
Yeah, I've played a lot of ball with Steve over the years. Played with him for Wiltshire, played against him many times in lots of regional and local tournaments. He really is a brilliant player, and he has started to showcase what he can do across the pool world, playing on the UK Tour for a bit, winning trophies on there, and he's won some big money matches as well. So he is starting to become a bit more known, a bit more widely spread. But certainly in the Southwest, he is very well known as a very talented player.
That's tomorrow's fair on Free Sports for you. The Super Series final, 6 o'clock. Do join us for Gareth Hibbett against Alex O'Donoghue. Well, Martin hasn't got all of this break. See here, the explosion in the middle of the pack wasn't quite what he wanted it to be, but he got enough balls on the move to make a couple. And now he's got some thinking to do, because the split isn't the kindest.
It's more congested, or it looks more congested than it really is. Simple pot to the left corner leaves him on the only ball that looks tricky, to the right centre. From there, if he can land nicely on his next ball, which isn't guaranteed, it's all open. Yeah, he's not guaranteed to land on his next ball, and he hasn't landed nicely.
Think he knows it.
He's certainly letting us know. So he's still on this red, but it's a much tougher pot than he wanted.
Queuing. He's not settled into this match so far, I think it's fair to say, Martin McIntosh, and he'll be pleased with this shot. This is the sort of shot that is quite easily missed when you're not really feeling like you're in the game yet.
It's a very, very tough pot. You've got to really cue it in well. Martin will leave himself a fair few shots like that, because his patterns aren't as tight as he'd want them to be, but he is very good at those recovery shots.
For 1-1, and this is a good break and dish as well. Really good effort from Mac. This is his profile, 31-year-olds. He's got a great record in money matches over the last couple of years, and he lost 3 of 15. Favourite pool player, Patty McCarran, and see why after that game that we just saw.
Both players from Aberdeen. Patty's nominated Martin, Martin's nominated Patty. I was just going to say that Martin has played for a lot of big pots over the last 12 months. He really has put himself out there in the pool scene.
Steve Smart's break this time a lot safer, but again, not quite the split that he would have wanted. But having said that, these yellows are looking very, very tasty indeed. And it could be 2-1 in the blink of an eye here.
I know it's early stages in this match, but when you compare it to the way both players were hitting the pack in the opening match in terms of the power through the break, neither player yet found the stride with their break. Martin would like to have been, well, ideally on the top yellow. I don't think he's hit the gap, so he's going to have to play a really off-angle plant. This isn't guaranteed.
Oh, he's unlucky. He's played it almost perfectly. He's actually played it with a lot of control. He just wanted an extra centimetre or so on it, and he'd been absolutely golden. It's a really good effort and a tough shot. Steve plays safe, but it's not totally safe. I think Martin does have a shot to go at towards the bottom of the table. Or is that yellow just getting in the way? Is he going for the skill shot here, maybe?
Long double, excellent shot. What a shot.
Wowee.
It was difficult to really work out what he was going to try and do there. I thought maybe a cut to the top right corner, but that's a big shot from Martin. That has opened everything up.
I thought he might have been looking to play the white off the other yellow and take the one over the pocket, but that's... I mean, we saw some good doubles in the first match. Oh, no!
There's a problem there as well, because there's some history with this tip, and it was going to be interesting to see how he was going to get on with it, because about half an hour before we came on air for our first match, he was just having his 10 minutes of practice or so, and he did something similar to this, jumped the white off the table, and he spent about 5 minutes or so looking at the tip and looking like he had a real problem. So I hope that isn't going to affect him in this match, but it's something to keep an eye on. Steve wanted that red to go off the yellow. He needed to open up that pocket a little bit, because those 3 reds below the black are a problem, and he needed a pocket open at the bottom of the table. Just going back to that miscue from Martin, if he does have a problem with his tip, Steve tries to open things up and doesn't manage to do it. If Martin does have a problem with his tip, if there's a little bit of a chunk out of it, or there's a little cut on the tip or anything along those lines, then it is a real problem, and it's more of a problem when you're playing a screw shot like that, because you're potentially hitting the cue ball with that part of the tip, and if you have got a problem with a bit of a dead spot or a little bit of a chunk out of it, then you are going to have potentially a lot of miscues, so you're constantly going to have to be wary of that shot.
The same way around the table, boys. It's okay, thank you.
Steve runs out of position. Not settled yet, Steve Smart. Hasn't really looked too comfortable in this match just as yet. Martin back at the table. With a chance to make amends after that horrible miscue.
Black doesn't go to left centre. Black doesn't go to left corner, top left corner. So he has to land on this to the bottom right corner. That's pretty much the only ball, and it's not as easy as it is want it to be. Oh, he's cued that beautifully. A lot of cue ball movement with very little power. Excellent shot.
Yeah, there's the little look at the tip again. He's not happy, and just in terms of a mentality, if anything, Simon, you know, these are the tools of the trade. And if you know there's a problem, it can just play with you psychologically more than anything else, more than the actual problem that could be caused, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, and if there is a little chunk out of it, it's going to be in your mind all the way through the match, but it's also, it can be that you want to hold the cue in the same spot every time. You think the cue is round and that you could hold it any which way and it won't make a difference, but you are, if you know when you're not holding it in the same place that you always are. So if you have to turn the cue round to be playing those screw shots in a different way, it's really going to affect you. You're going to lose you're going to lose your confidence in your tip. You're going to not be precise with your positional play, and this could be a real problem for Martin as the match progresses, because if he does any more damage to it, it's only going to make things worse.
It's a good break though from Martin McIntosh. Does he use a break cue for his break, so nothing to worry about there. Causes extension on this shot. Wonder if we'll return to that in a few minutes' time as the set edges towards its finish. Not going for him at the moment. It's not going for either player, really.
No, neither player fully settled down. I thought Martin maybe had, after the way he finished off that last set with such an excellent shot, I thought that might really set him down. He's got in front, but Steve certainly hasn't settled down at all. And one thing we haven't really talked about so far is that Steve's had no time to prepare for this match. So the original plan, as many of you at home will know, as we've been building this match up, as Martin McIntosh versus John Roberts. And John, unfortunately, injured overnight. He's been unable to play, so Steve called in as a last-minute replacement. So he's had no time to prepare or put the time in to really get himself in the right shape. Red's just got in the way of the black enough to be annoying. It still goes to the top corner, but it's not as easy to land on it in the centre pocket now, and he's a little bit high up the table as well. As good a pot and position as that is, it's going to be a real problem, because the last yellow, the one he's about to play, is now a real problem ball. I think he's clipping off this, trying to make the one near the right corner. No, gone for the centre pocket double, which is about as tough a double as you can have.
Yeah. Halfway point of the set. As we hear from the noise around the arena there, does now mean the re-racking will stop the clock. We are at the halfway point of our first set. Oh no, that's missed by a long way.
It's a poor miss from Martin, and you just saw the grimace on Steve's face as he walked to the table, because he knows it's a poor shot from his opponent, but he also knows his opponent's got away with it in terms of he's blocked off the bottom right-hand corner and he's left him awkward on the one over the near the middle pocket. So not a lot that Steve can do in this situation.
Well, he's called his extension. A little bit of time to think about it.
It's a good shot, good containing shot from Steve. Get that yellow in front of the red. Make sure that Martin can't pot it, so that Martin will need a cannon to make this clearance. Doesn't look like there's a gap for either of these reds into the centre pocket. If this bottom one does go, it is absolutely off the bottom jaw. No, it didn't go. It was just a case of nudging it past the yellow and saying over to you, Steve. You've got a problem ball as well.
Be careful when you cheers. Thank you.
Well, Steve, if he's trying to power this into the centre pocket with lots of screw and maybe a bit of reverse side, then this yellow could bounce out, because when you play it with this sort of pace, look at that.
Well, he's going to have a shot on it.
He'll be happy to have a shot, but look how close that yellow was to coming out. This is so much pace into the middle pocket.
I'll tell you what, if he'd have avoided the black there, he was on for an absolutely incredible shot. He's got a shot, though. Oh, it's close. Oh, pot. Well, I tell you what, it's a couple of absolutely superb shots from Steve Smart to take that frame. Not too sure why the hands up an apology. I think he's absolutely earned that in the end.
I agree, completely agree. He's tried to make it happen. He was given that opportunity, and he played almost what he was trying to do, so he should be pleased.
These are stats so far. Martin McIntosh's break has been by far the more successful. Both players running into a few issues early on. Both players potting has let them down on occasion. Neither was fully settled. It's almost what we thought we'd see a bit more of in our first match, honestly, Simon. I think we were pleasantly surprised with the freedom that both our players played with in the early going.
I think it's exactly right. Both players settled down really quickly in that first match and played their best stuff, whereas so far in this match neither player has settled. Both players are making mistakes, and clearances look difficult, shots look difficult at the moment.
Well, Steve once again breaks dry. That's his best break in terms of split, but still nothing down.
One thing's for sure, if he's going to win this match, that will have to change. He's going to have to start making balls off his break and giving himself first visit dishes or first visit chances.
Yeah, absolutely. 0% success on the break so far from 3 is not ideal, to say the least.
The disappointing thing from Steve's side of the table will be the fact that he's hit 2 of those 3 breaks really poorly. He's caught this third one a lot better, so it's good signs, but it's still dry, and unfortunately he's caught this break better, which means it's a much better split for Martin to go at. One good positional shot up the table. If he lands on his next ball, it will be end of frame. If he lands, just.
Yeah, that's a more understandable hand-up of apology than the last one we saw. Got a little bit lucky on that one, but he'll take that, Martin McIntosh.
Yeah, he gets the positional shot all wrong. Can't get nicely on his last red. He's going to have to accept poor position. He may look to target the yellow he's nearest to right now. He may play this shot to the top left, just to trace a side, trace a left, just try and get into that yellow as a target ball. Oh, he did, but he's got way too much side in it. And now this black is, well, it's horrible. Top left or top right, both ways, the in-off is close. I think top left, it may not be in-off. Top right, it is very close to in-off. Brilliant.
It's a great pot. Really, really good pot that is. You're absolutely right about the in-off, Simon. It was very, very close. Look at how well that shot was cued. Beautifully worked, and he knew he was going to lose the frame if he missed it. That was a pressure pot, and a very, very good one at that. In case you're a little bit late joining us this evening, this is what we're playing, shootout format in the Shootout Showdown. Black ball rules, ball must hit the cushion after contact. A foul introduces 1 shot and a visit, as opposed to 2 shots. 2 shots carry anything like that. Golden break, pop the black of the break. You win the frame, pop the black and the white, you lose it. That's golden duck. 2 sets, 30-minute set clock, 20-second shot clock throughout. If we're level after 2 sets, we have a 1-frame decider. Martin McIntosh again makes the ball. His break has been pretty good so far. I think he cued 1 fairly badly, but on every instance he has made a ball, and that is really all you can hope for.
And the last 2 breaks have been brilliant. He's really got through the pack nicely with his last 2 breaks. I thought that might be a sign that he'd settled down, but he did make a couple of mistakes 2 frames ago. But I think another finish from the break that he's just had may well do the trick, and he may well be fully into this match now. Playing the best ball of the 2 players, that's for sure.
Yeah, this should be a fairly rudimentary clearance for him. Although that's going to be a big problem for him. I think he's just about able to see the red to the centre. He is. It's not where he wanted to be at all.
He's very fortunate, to be honest, to be able to pop this to the right centre. Got that shot all wrong. The recovery's not ideal as well. Come way too far up the table. I don't think he can see the one over the bottom corner pocket, and the one in the centre of the table is really tricky into the centre pocket, and as a long plant it's horrible, and it's awkward cueing. Oh, that's excellent. That's so good.
That's a hell of a shot.
2 great recovery shots from Martin.
And that's where he's really made his name.
Yeah, and that's what you get with Martin, absolutely. And he'll be open and honest about it himself. He knows kind of where he stands in the world of pool. He knows he's really still learning. His patterns are improving, but he's got that. Has he let the white just drift too far again? Yeah, his patterns are normally not. They can be a little bit off. He loses his control of the white just a little bit, but he does have the belief and the ability to recover the situation with those big shots.
He's going to need it here.
Well, he's looking at trying to play this off the black. That's tough. The black's a long way from the pocket. Hard hit it thick enough so he's...
What you've already used your break centre. 1 free shot, 1 visit. Time running.
Martin time fouls. Thought he had an extension left, but he'd already used it. and he can laugh about it, but that's a huge moment in this match, because with 8 minutes left on the clock, he really should have gone 2 frames ahead. That was a kind of routine finish for Martin.
Yeah, Donna very composed there. She was absolutely in the right. Martin took it with good grace, but he, inside, will be annoyed with himself.
Possibly more annoyed with the lack of, or the losing of the cue ball rather than the actual time foul itself.
Yep.
It was still odds against making that swerve shot, but what he's done though, he's kept Steve in this set. Steve was struggling. Steve wasn't playing his best pool. He looked like he was going 4-2 behind, and all of a sudden, it's all square.
Yeah, 3 apiece, and that was a tight little clearance from Steve Smart actually. And one thing that it may allow Steve to do, that opening that Martin McIntosh has given him, is just give him a little bit more table time, allow him to get his cue arm going and flow it a little bit more. He was very calm about looking at the shot clock. Gauss's extension there. And there's him finding out, and he no longer has it.
Yeah, it's a big surprise for Martin. Hadn't realised he'd already used his extension. You get 1 extension per set, which isn't much, but it's something, I suppose.
Now, Simon, I don't mean to blow one's trumpet, but I did say when Martin used his extension much earlier on in this set that I wonder if he'll come to regret it as the set clock ticks down towards the 0 mark. He used it pretty flippantly.
I agree.
On a shot that he didn't really need to. When you've only got 1 or 20-second shot clock, it can come back to bite you, and well, that's exactly what's happened.
I completely agree. I think the way the players is an excellent plant from Steve, and that's opened the frame up for him. First time he's made a ball off the break, great chance to go ahead. In the first match we saw tonight, both players almost ignored they had an extension until the end of the set. They used it in the last frame only, and I actually think that's probably the right way to do it, unless maybe, 5 minutes to go, it's a crucial moment and you've got to give it the extra 20 seconds. But I agree, Martin used it a little bit rashly early on when you only get 1. But what it has allowed is Steve into this match, and one thing I noticed with Steve clearing up that previous frame, a lot more authority round the table as he misses a double to the middle pocket. But it's like he almost, I know we're playing on a short shot clock, but that Steve almost stepped up the pace and he said, okay, I'm not going to overthink this anymore, I'm just going to let my natural game come out and I'm just going to flow here.
Flow it straight onto the draw in the middle pocket though. I think 1 each on talking a pot out of a pocket.
Yeah, we better not tell the players after the match.
Well, commentators curse very much live and kicking. Martin McIntosh then. Good opening shot, and these yellows are not bad.
Just one problem to solve at the bottom of the table. Yellow nearest the bottom right. He might just be trying to float this into the pocket to take the pocket. Well, no, he's trying to play it off the yellow and red. I didn't see that shot as a great percentage play because it was very hard to get that right. Sometimes they look like big pockets. This time he has to get the perfect contact on the yellow to make the shot, and it was a fine line. And what that's done is it's given the tactical advantage to Steve Smart in this occasion.
Yeah, he holds all the cards here in this frame. But Martin, as always, will try and be aggressive.
He's got a lovely angle to be aggressive with as well. I think he can just really punch this in and get into the problem area. Oh, nearly. Very nearly.
It's nearly an incredible shot.
Now he's cannon the red and yellow that he's bridging over into a position where it would be nicer to play a yellow off them, but it's unfortunate he doesn't have a yellow to do so with.
Do you think he took that one on to the top corner?
Yeah, I think so. I think he was trying to take that on a very speculative pot. If he makes it, then he could play the shot that I was talking about, the yellow and the open off the 2 at the bottom of the table. If he doesn't, he knows he wasn't leaving a pot on for Steve Smart.
It's a clever shot from Steve there.
Oh, it's a good try. It's a very good try. Just wanted to flick off the red and open up the pocket. Now, in the first match, those of you that were watching with us, both players forgot about the set clock. Will that happen again here? Players are now starting to run out of time. 3 minutes 14 left.
Good shot that from Martin McIntosh, I'll tell you. Played that really well. Doesn't want that to drop. Oh, what a shot that is.
That might give Steve Smart an opportunity to get a chance to clear up to win this frame next visit, because he can now make something happen at that bottom right-hand corner. Martin has next to nothing to go at here. Yeah, just almost a kind of nudge the yellow over the corner pocket and say, over to you, Steve. The clearance is there if you want it. He can play some sort of combination shot to the bottom right-hand corner, but if he plays it, he needs everything to ping open. That's nice control. That is really nice control. To play it, I thought he might play that with lots of pace, trying to open it all up in one shot, but he's played the control, make sure he's left a red over the corner pocket, and now he can nudge his last ball in that problem area out with this next shot.
Get your skates on, Steve. Oh, it's not dropped. You can see what he was trying to play. It's a really clever idea, great invention on the shot.
It is, but he's almost quit on the shot completely. I think he miscued that, actually, because he had nowhere near enough pace on it to be able to land on his next red had he made the red over the pocket. So he's actually a little bit lucky he didn't make the one over the pocket.
Now Martin, has he painted himself into a corner? In potting that yellow, he now has to go for this. If he doesn't, the frame is there for Steve.
Well, he's had a result. He's had a right result. Snookered Steve on all reds.
Time out, please.
Here, just hear Steve Smart calling for the total snooker.
It's not. Time out.
It's not a total snooker, says Donna. Must hit a cushion after contact.
And he's not going to.
Foul.
Martin is going to get about 50 seconds to clear up 3 balls to win this set.
Wanted the white where it was. And he should have enough time. This is a shot. Doesn't go. And now does Steve have 30 seconds to win the frame?
That's the second time in as many seconds as Martin has been fortunate, because he's running the clock down here because he knows he doesn't have the opportunity to clear up. He is just making sure that Martin can't win the frame. He knew that he had next to no chance of making that. If he makes it, then he's got just enough time to pot the last 2 balls. If he doesn't make it, the last thing he wanted to do was give Martin 20 seconds to clear up those 3 balls. So fairly clever in the end from Steve Smart.
Well, 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 great drama in that final frame. That was really taken down to the wire. 3-3 though at the close of that frame means half a point each, and it means our next set turns into a decider. Join us for that next. Welcome back to the West Midlands. Paul, on your screens here on Free Sports this evening. We've seen some absolute magic on the base tonight, but we've still got one more game to decide, and it's going to go to a final set here, Simon. A really close first set between Steve Smart and Martin McIntosh. Both players, I feel like, will feel they've got a little bit to work on in this second set, and that might even give them both a weird bit of confidence in a way.
Yes, Steve probably feels like he's got away with one there. He probably feels like he should have lost that set. Martin should probably feel like he definitely should have won it, if that makes sense. And I think that Martin will probably be more annoyed, but he knows that he's probably queuing better than Steve. So if he can get the opportunities early, maybe he can put him under pressure and get the advantage in this set. Although that's not the best start for Martin.
No, it is not. It's opened it right up here for Steve Smart. He's unfortunate with that cannon. Freed the red up and then tied it back up again all in one fell swoop. Is he going to play safe here, or is he going for the... Oh, I think he tried to play the cross double, maybe?
Just trying to get the red into the bottom right-hand corner of the table, I think. I felt all the way, knowing Steve reasonably well, I felt all the way through that first set that Steve just needed one good thing to happen. He just needed one decent visit to the table to really find his game. Almost as though every time he came to the table he had problems to work out. He was struggling, he couldn't get to a ball, or he was snookered, or he had to cannon a ball out, and it was never, he was fighting himself all the way through the set. I think he's the sort of player that he'll feel like really build off the momentum of a really good clearance, and if he can get one, then we might see him make 2 or 3 on the trot.
I want to see with how he's almost acting around the table. He's trying to inject some energy and some rhythm into his game, isn't he?
Absolutely, really bouncing around the table, really trying to add that belief to, remind himself how he normally plays.
Wobbled, but he's good. Had to play that pretty straight to try and hold the white.
Difficult to tell from our camera angle whether the red does. He can get to the potting angle of the red nearest the bottom right-hand corner. I suspect he can. I think there's enough room. But he's gone too far and he knows it. I think it's one of those where you need to land fairly straight to be able to get to the potting angle. If he has to do that, then it's hard to get straight from where he is. That's a nice shot. That was really good control. Got into that white nice and quickly to keep it below this yellow.
Oh, that's a good shot.
Just that little bit aside just to help the pot. Probably couldn't quite get to the potting angle. And one good black away from winning this opening frame.
This is by no means a gimme. Good shot.
Frame.
Really good shot.
Well, that may well settle Steve down. That was his best visit to the table in this match. Really good clearance and a really big confidence builder. And he goes 1-0 up in this second set. Quick look at what we've got coming up tomorrow night. The final of the Super Series. Gareth Hibbert, one of the legends of the game, versus one of Wiltshire's finest, Alex O'Donoghue. Should be an absolute cracker. It's been a brilliant event so far.
Hey, those Wiltshire rankings must be hot. Got Gareth, got Alex O'Donoghue, Steve Smart, Simon Webb.
Time running.
The former.
The former Simon Webb. The artist formerly known as Simon Webb.
The former pool player.
Oh no, that's unfortunate. And there was so nearly a golden duck there as well for Steve Smart. Wry smile. And he's just mentioned that himself. He so nearly lost the frame off 2 kickoffs. Oh, that'd have been unlucky. As it is, it's already pretty unlucky. As this is not a bad split here for Martin McIntosh. Notice with his free shots, he tends to just go into the break if he can. Doesn't really like to hang about.
Possibly something to work on. Use, especially early on in the visits, use your full 20 seconds if you can to really... The key to this game when you've got your visits like this, when you've got the full table to go at and you have to work out your pattern, is just to really work yourself through it. You'll see a lot when we play tournaments, on the IPA tour, when there's no shot clock or a longer shot clock. Players will take longer on that first visit. If they've got an extension, often use it on their first shot to really work out their full pattern, and then they can just work their way through it. Whereas I agree, Martin's probably straight into his visit and almost building his visit as he goes along. But if he is doing it that way, then he's doing it very well, because he is perfect here for a reverse dish.
Beautifully done.
Hangs his head because he's just left too much angle on this red. White's now going away from his final ball, so he's going to be leaving his last pot tricky.
Done well to hold it, done really well to hold it. Use the yellow as a guide. but this black now is very difficult to land on. He's going to need a really, really good shot here. Gets the pot, but unsurprisingly is snookered on the black. And this is difficult to even get to, I think. Oh, it wasn't. A good effort. He went straight after it.
It's a lovely shot, really is. That's a cracking effort. Natural angle, that doesn't go. He had to inject some spin on that off the side cushion. Played that with screw, and it arcs round. And created an angle that wasn't there. Steve just having a look at the clock. He's got a routine finish here, but one of the things that he did in the final frame of the last set was use the match clock and the set clock really, really well. Gave himself a speculative chance to win the set, but made sure he couldn't lose it with his clock management.
That's a great shot to end up on the black like that. He's actually overhit it by quite a bit. Didn't need to play that, but I mean, it's a great shot if you can do it.
Slightly risky for me. I've sat here for all the way through the Super Series and watched how tight these centre pockets have played. The minute you put any pace on it, then you are asking for trouble. So he could have just dropped that in and had the black to the corner, which he wouldn't have missed as well. But it was a good shot for us to watch anyway.
Yeah, a bit of an exhibition shot from Steve Smart. He'll be pleased with that. He's up now in the frame count as well. He gets his break going in a really good position, because his break has just not got going at all. Too dry, 2 in off out of 5.
Time running.
Martin McIntosh's break on the contrary has been pretty good, but just I say that, he's going to break dry. He's unlucky. He's really unlucky. He's cued that really well. He's given Steve a really good split here. And Steve should be feeling pretty confident after that last break. I think that final shot onto the black showed he's feeling pretty confident.
So I was saying at the start of the set, he felt like he just needed one visit to really just settle himself down, and he came up with a great clearance to win the opening set of the opening frame of the set. And now he looks like a different player than the first set. There's definitely a bounce, a confidence in his body language around the table. And these are the sorts of finishes that, having seen Steve play a lot, you just never expect him to miss when he has a table like this. Even if that yellow just above the left centre pocket doesn't go, you always feel like he finds a way. But the way he's gone about this, it must go past the red.
Just about tickle it in. A millimetre left there, and that wasn't dropping. Cued those well.
He's a roll short of perfect. You can just see that slight grimace on his face. He's just got too much angle here. The yellow doesn't go to the bottom right, and the white's going to be coming too far across the table. So he may have to drop this in as absolutely dead weight as possible. No, he's going to go the other way around.
Foul.
The difference it makes. If he'd gone one more roll across the table,
One free shot, one miss.
it would be simple.
Time running.
Yeah, he was wanting to play the yellow at the rail, and that was the shot he played to land on. He didn't land on it nicely, because it made his next yellow difficult. So he reversed his plans, and he's gone in off. And there we see a development shot from Martin with his free shot. That's absolutely the right thing to do. And these reds. Training exercise.
Just what Mahit needed to keep himself in the match. It really is. Big visit for him, of course. 2-1 or 3-0 is massive, but also the way the match has just started to flow. This will give him some confidence again. Lovely shot that. To cushion with running side to land perfect.
You know you're in a good position when you've got three stun shots to win the set, to win the frame rather.
It's just a sign of a really nice pattern around the table, and Martin has worked these out beautifully. I was just going to say he's got a lovely, kind of almost lazy, natural style around the table that's just a joy to watch, really.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Well, this second set very much alive. Well, so McIntosh needed that, you feel. 2-1 now. Still a long way to go in this one. Can Steve Smart get his break going? That's the big question now for me, I feel.
Last couple of breaks from Steve have been better.
Frame 4, Steve Smart to break, leading 2 frames to 1. Time running.
Oh, that's a better break. That's a better break, and has he got unlucky with where he's left the white? That would really sum it all up for Steve Smart's break so far this evening. Has he gone and left the white absolutely safe? No, I think he can get to that red.
Has to go reds, no choice.
He doesn't fear these middle pockets, does he? Goodness me.
Really flying them in. Goes without saying, the red just above the yellow on the right hand side is his problem ball. Hard to develop as well, although there is enough reds at the bottom of the table, although he hasn't landed on his next pot, so it will be just a safety shot.
Yeah, just didn't come away from the yellow at all, rather stuck to it. Martin's aggressive. Does not need an invitation to go at these. And he'll just back himself to get that yellow out.
He will, but it's not going to be easy. Might have the angle to do it here, but it's hard. Even if you get a good cannon into that area, and he has, it's still hard to get the yellow out because of all the reds around it. And actually, he's caught them beautifully, and the yellow still hasn't come out. I mean, it's come out far enough that he's at least got a chance here.
It's a hell of a shot just to get to this situation.
Best shot in the match for me so far, this. So hard to get that out. And he's done well, although his next shot has not gone well. He's now in trouble. Just going to be a snooker. Make sure you hit the cushion after contact, which he has done. Don't think he's got the snooker.
No, I think this red actually goes on the left side of the table.
It's almost a free shot, I think, if he can just drop this in.
Don't mind that necessarily. Steve very much holding every single card in this frame.
Almost played that. I don't think he really took the pot on. Oh, Martin.
Oh, stop that.
I mean, that's
a ridiculous shot.
This is Martin McIntosh. That's how he plays. He is big shot after big shot. Really is. He's going to need another.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what he's even got on. I'm sure that brain is crafting something.
Middle pocket? No.
Oh, the red will. That will about chalk the frame.
Time running.
I love how he has almost the audacity to look disappointed with that result because he's still expected to make something from there. Absolutely love it.
It's just the belief he has. It's absolutely brilliant. It is a joy to watch the way he plays pool. It's wild, and sometimes you can get frustrated with him because he'll make a sort of a basic error, but then he'll come up with a massive shot, and it is great to watch.
I feel like he's a sort of player that absolutely thrives in an environment where there's a big crowd behind him as well.
I completely agree. Really like to play up to the crowd as well. Steve it's his turn to come loose with a positional shot. This is betwixt and between. Wanted almost another 2-3 rolls on that white, or 2-3 rolls less. And now he's right in between.
Well, you don't want to give Martin a shot, and I think he might have one. Can he thread the needle here?
I think he can. I think that little nudge on the black has stopped it from being a snooker and allowed Martin to have a pot at this.
He's called his extension. He wants to have a good long look at this. Oh, that's unlucky. Great effort.
He's actually played a two-way shot there and overhit it. He hit that so nicely. He was trying to leave the white about 6 inches higher up the table to leave Steve no shot. And as it happened, the white's come a little bit too far and leave Steve the pot that he had. And Steve's been very lucky to get away with this frame.
But he's going to take it all day. 3-1 to Steve Smart. Martin McIntosh will be starting to watch that scoreboard. 13.5 minutes remaining in this set. Steve Smart is 2 away. Martin McIntosh 4 away.
He has time. He has plenty of time. He's got a lot more experience at this style of pool. Played all but one of the shootouts that we've seen here on Free Sports. He's had some success. Reached the semi-finals, I think, on 2 occasions.
Yeah, he's a good player, and I think he's just having a look there at the clock. He's just trying to analyse, just trying to think how many frames have I got left. He could feasibly win the next 3 and go on to win the match. There's plenty of time left in this match. The 20-second shot clock, it really does chip away that time, I think much quicker than the players really give it much credit for. It's another good break from Martin. It's one thing that's not really let him down. He's usually made a ball from the break, and now he's got to try and make something of this chance.
Key for me with Martin is to don't worry about the match clock, the set clock right now. The only thing that matters is winning this frame. If he wins this frame, even if it takes him 10 minutes to win this frame, he at least has still got time to win that next frame. What he cannot afford to do is lose this frame, because then his match will and his night will be over.
Not happy with the contact there. He wants that to continue rolling by quite a long way.
It's one of those, I think he's probably almost, if that was a bit of a kick, he's almost brought that on. He was cueing down on the ball. It didn't quite cue it as smoothly as he would have wanted to.
Wanted to cannon, didn't get it. Now he's having to pull out all the stops. He's still chasing it.
I wondered whether he could pot the yellow that's in the middle of the 2 reds, but his immediate reaction was to look at the other yellow, so I think that suggests he can't see enough of this one.
Well, you say that.
Not quite. Oh, don't go in off.
Foul.
And those are the sorts of shots that really frustrate you with Martin. Okay, he's run out of position, but it was careless to go in off. It was a bit of a nothing shot in the end. And it's massive, really, because you're giving Steve an extra shot here, a free shot just to develop a bad ball. Oh, he's a little fortunate there. He's a little bit lucky. If that yellow stays over the pocket like it looked like it was going to, then he's put himself in a spot of bother. In fact, he got the double kiss and it went in. It is a big result.
Yeah, it's come out lovely, hasn't it? Come out lovely. He's a little shake of the head there. He's a good few inches short of where he wanted to be with the white. Want that to be a couple of hands over to the left-hand side. Now a tougher shot than he wanted. Cued that nicely though. And he should be back on track here with this red over the bottom right. To go 1 away on a 3 grand pot.
That was a nice touch. Nice little controlled shot into the black, just to make things even simpler.
Well, does he get through that? I think he does, just from looking at his reaction.
I wonder whether he really needed to nudge into the black again.
I thought for a second, looking at the other camera, it looks like he might be snookered. He's all right. Fine on the shot clock as well. That shot clock will time foul if he doesn't hit the white in time. Doesn't have to worry about the shot completing. He's made a bit of a meal of this clearance, Steve Smart, but this to go one away. Oh, well then. He knows how big that could be. He knows how big that could be. Martin McIntosh psychs himself up. This is not an easy shot on this yellow.
He's cutting it back.
Oh, what a pot. What a pot in that circumstance to do that. And it's game back on, 3-2 with 9.5 remaining. That is some shot to whip out from Martin McIntosh. It's a big miss. It's an even bigger recovery pot.
I was surprised to see Steve take his full time on that shot. It's almost though he stood there, realised the importance of the shot. That was in his mind probably for the match. He's thinking, if I go 4-1 up with 9 minutes on the clock, okay, we've seen comebacks, but it's unlikely. And now he's put himself bang under it. He almost built the shot up too much in his mind. It was just a simple black to the corner, and one that, you know, he's going to really hurt missing that ball.
Frame 6.
Oh, that's a 99 out of 100 sort of shot, that, for Steve Smart. He absolutely has to be making it. He knows that.
I always think in those situations you can make mistakes. You can, you know, he's missed a pot that he should never miss. It's cost him a frame. Can you hold your nerve and take your next opportunity, or are you going to let that mistake affect you on your next chance?
Well, talking of his next chance, this first pot is difficult. He sunk it. It's a really good pot in the circumstances. That opens this frame right up for him. It's a good break and a good split.
That was a far better pot than the black he's just missed.
Yeah, not half. About 4 times as difficult, that shot.
Absolutely agree, and he's got one more big shot to play in this frame. And that's the yellow to the top left. Probably leave it for his last yellow, because then you just drop it in and you know you've got the black to the opposite corner pocket. Although he has just come too far down the table. He wanted to be straight on the yellow to the bottom right so he could stay on the yellow to the left centre. Now he can't do that. I wonder if he can soft screw into the black. He can. And all that means is he can't get close to his last yellow down the rail.
This is going to be a big, big shot up the top of the table. How's your cueing? It's not there. It was tough, but he would have backed himself to make that ordinarily.
It was tough, but you can't help but feel that the black in the previous frame was in his mind as he was on that shot. Worked himself into a position where that shot was a lot tougher than he wanted it to be. And if he's in full flow, you expect him to make it, but it was still incredibly tough. And that's 2 golden opportunities to get to 4 frames come and gone for Steve Smart. And whilst in the first set it felt like Martin was keeping Steve in it, it's the opposite way around in this set.
Martin still has to make the most of this chance. Couple of things nearly didn't go for him there, but in the end he's absolutely perfect.
Just for a second. And things are just starting to get awkward, although he was playing on the red to the bottom right, which is why I was saying it, but he has got the red to the bottom left as his safety net. Easier to get position from the left to the right than vice versa. Or has he overhit this one? Has he overhit it? He's overhit it, I think.
Oh dear. I think he's okay.
Yeah, he's okay. He's getting down quick. He's lucky. He's just held on, but he's quit on that shot as well. And this black, okay, it's a fairly simple black, but you can see he's not in a great frame of mind out there.
We've seen easier shots be missed. Oh, fair play. It's a really good pot. And we are all square with 6 minutes and 3 seconds remaining. Could be time for 1 frame, could be time for 2, could be time for 3. You never know. Beauty of Shootout, Paul.
Having a look at the stats, and key stat there for me is the 72 balls potted for Steve to 55 for Martin. That shows that Steve's got a long way through a lot of finishes and not cleared up. A lot of mistakes at the back end of finishes for Steve Smart, especially in this second set, almost keeping Martin in it with his mistakes.
Martin McIntosh break, 3 frames all.
Martin's break has been good. And that's about as good as anyone's hit a break tonight. That is some shot. Massive movement. He's been a little bit unlucky with how the splits come out, I think. He tried to knock the black out there. Didn't manage to. It's not the straightforward clearance that he might have wanted. And they are there. Didn't want to finish below that red.
Just got into it too much, and the longer you go through a finish like this before you can get to the ball that you need to work out, the harder it's going to get. And to land anywhere on his next ball is going to be incredibly difficult.
Sending it round the houses. Oh, he's going to drop this on the bottom cushion. And if this red passes the black, that's an utterly amazing shot.
It's not what he played, though. He hasn't played it.
No, I know.
I don't think it goes anyway, looking at the overhead camera, but it's actually not the worst result, because he can just hide the white behind the black.
Yeah, he's got that out and hides the white. That's not a bad result.
He would have loved 2 more rolls on the red to make sure it's over the pocket, blocking up that pocket. Not the worst shot from Steve, just tying up that red as even more than it already was. Oh, lovely.
Some recovery, though. How about that for a response? That's like taking a good serve in tennis and hitting it for a winner down the line, isn't it? That's some shot in response.
Can he needs to get this white 2 inches high up the table to be on that red to the centre, and then he can get back on the black. Oh, another miscue. I said earlier on, keep an eye on that. He's not happy with this tip. He hasn't been all night, and that is a miscue at the worst possible time.
Oh, I can't believe it.
It's one of those where he's really just trying to nip it. He wants really quick reaction. He wants to pinch the pocket as much as possible, because he's only trying to move the white 2 inches high up the table from a straight position. Oh, and it's all gone wrong for him. It really has.
Well, there isn't a huge amount of time left in this match. This could be the last completed frame. And if it is, the winner of it would win the match. Steve Smart is now in the driver's seat. And the fact that he's tied that up, I think he's been quite clever there. He knows he's in the driver's seat for this frame. He doesn't want, therefore, for this frame to be quick. He wants to eat up as much of that time as possible.
He does. He also would have liked, when he played that little snooker, he wanted that yellow. If that yellow had bounced an extra inch off the table, for one thing, it would have made it a much harder snooker for Martin to get out of, but it also would have made his pot on that yellow, when he gets to it down the rail, just that fraction easier. And when the table is laid out like it is now, you just want it as absolutely as easy as possible.
Quite tickled in.
I don't think he was playing the pot. I think he was just taking the pocket and saying over to you, Martin. He did not expect that to drop in.
Well, from where the white balls ended up, that's the only logical conclusion. What's he got now?
That's a good shot. Hasn't given the frame away. Made a mistake, made a couple of mistakes on the trot, but he hasn't given it away with a rash shot. He's played a good safety.
One thing's for sure, at this stage, I'm pretty confident in saying this is going to be the last frame of the match. 100 seconds remaining.
It's probably worth pointing out that if this frame does not complete and they win half a point each for another tied set, we go to a...
Oh, what a pot to pull out.
Just finish off what I was saying. We go to a tie break frame. They'll both relag, and it'll be a 1 frame for the money.
He needs to play another great shot. Oh, how about it? Brilliant. What a couple of shots from Steve Smart. Can he get on the black? 2 absolutely massive pots. And he's missed the easiest of the 3.
Oh, can you get your breath, really? Oh, Steve Smart, the match in your hands.
Well, does Martin now have enough time to clear up his reds? Because they're now in the open. And we know he's got the ability to bring out the clutch pots when he needs it.
Oh, Martin McIntosh, what a pot.
Is he in off? No, he's fine. And he's got plenty of time. Red onto black. 2 simple pots for a £3 prize pot. We've seen some drama tonight in the Shootout Showdown. And Martin McIntosh, with about 10 seconds left on the watch, is going to win the deciding frame. Absolutely remarkable.
Stop the match clock, please.
Well, because this is a change of rule, we both think that Martin's going to win the match. Steve Smart thinks Martin's going to win the match. Martin thinks he's going to win the match. But the rules have been slightly changed. In the last 15 minutes of a set, the clock will stop when the referee is racking the balls up. So Steve Smart will break off with 6 seconds left on the clock. Simple scenario, he needs to make the black off the break to tie this match up. If he does not make the black off the break, Martin McIntosh will walk away with the money.
Those are the rules. So wasn't there a game show centered around something along this sort of scenario? Here we go then. It is Steve Smart's big break. If he pots the black, he gets £3
Break, trading 4 frames to 3. Time running.
He only has to hit the white. He doesn't need the balls to stop rolling, he just has to hit the white. Oh, and he jumps the white off the table, so that is match over. Martin McIntosh walks away with the money.
Wow. Wowee. Goodness me, we've seen some drama tonight on Free Sports. If you've been with us all evening, you've been treated to 2 absolutely exceptional matches. And so it shows why we love Shootout, Paul.
We do. The format really promotes it. The players are under pressure. We've seen that with every format of the shootout that we have seen. You know, the short shot clock, it really puts the player under pressure. The match clock, the set clock adds that dynamic, but also when you're playing for that level of money, it's an extra pressure out there. And in the first match, we saw both players play fantastic, Paul. To this match, we saw almost the pressure tell through. Neither player really getting into their stride, and it was Martin that came up with the big shot to win it in that last frame.
He sure did. We'll speak to our winner after the break. Well, what a remarkable night of pool we have had on Free Sports tonight. 2 money matches have gone down. £5,000 has been won across 2 matches that went right down to the final seconds. Absolutely incredible action, Simon.
Brilliant. Loved both matches, both in very different styles. The first match had lots of drama. The second match was exactly the same. And it's actually hard to believe the matches finished the way they did. I almost feel like the player that won the match probably looked like they were going to lose the match. And yeah, but all crazy emotions out there for all 4 players.
Well, time now to ask our second winner just about how he feels. Martin McIntosh joins us now. Martin, first of all, huge congratulations. That's a big, big win for you. Just talk to me about your emotions going into the final stages of that match, because at one stage it looked like you'd lost it, at one stage it looked like you'd won it, and then back again, and eventually back again until you are the victor. How do you keep things in check at that stage of the match?
Absolutely no idea. I thought I was beat. Just relieved. Really struggled, but I've played with half a tip the whole game, so it was in my mind the whole time, my tip hanging off, so it's horrible.
I wanted to ask you, congratulations Martin first of all, but I wanted to ask you about your tip, because in the early, I noticed you in practice that you actually looked like you took a chunk out of it just before the match started, and that's always going to be in the back of your mind all the way through.
Yeah, standard show off when you're practicing. Blasted the ball, miscued it, and my tip halved. So I've no spare tips with this, so just had to crack on and play with it. But yeah.
Well, he did certainly a pretty good job of doing that in the meantime. Just want to ask you a little bit towards the end of that match. There was a shot that Steve had on the black, which would have made it 4-1. At that stage, are you starting to fear the worst? And how pleased were you to get an opportunity to make amends in that frame in particular?
Yeah, that's the point. I thought I was beat when it rattled off. I think I was like a Formula 1 car coming out my seat. I was up like a whippet, but I nearly went in off myself and I potted the last yellow, but it was just do or die. I had no idea where the white was going. I was just full-blooded for the pot.
You show a lot of composure out there. It's one thing to be given that lifeline by Steve when he missed that black, but the way, I don't know what it is about you, but you look so calm out there, even though there's a lot going on. You're coming up with these big shots. What is it that allows you to stay so composed?
It's just me being me. Just don't care. Nah, I do. I don't know. It's just, as I say, I'm pretty used to this format now, and money matches. I'm used to the money matches now, but I mean that wasn't very pretty. But I'm sorry to Steve as well, because it was a coin toss there, to be honest.
It really was. Well, it was a great, entertaining match, mate. Thank you so much for your time tonight and the great entertainment.
Cheers. I just want to say thanks.
On the first.
Can I just say thanks to the sponsors that pay for everything? The Blue Marlin Fishing, Legends Ace, and Rollstud.
You absolutely
Cheers.
can, mate. You just did. Thank you very much, Martin, and we wish you all the very best for the near future. Simon, an incredible match tonight as we take a look through some of the highlights.
Absolutely. Our first taste of these kind of matches here on Free Sports, the money matches, a very different dynamic, and we'll look through these highlights. That's Martin chipping the white off the table, and as he said in his interview, he was concerned about the tip all the way through. He did some damage just messing around before the night started, and that's going to be in the back of your mind all night long. And whilst he made his, the odd positional error, the odd missed pot, and put himself into poor positions, he was able to stay composed. He was relaxed throughout, and when he was given that lifeline in that second set, he really did pounce on it. He had to come up with, I think that missed black by Steve will be remembered, but the shots that Martin had to play afterwards, the big pots he had to come up with, and he still had to win 2 more frames, will have to be remembered as well.
Yeah, I was about to ask you about that, really. Martin's been pretty hard on himself there, I think, because he remembers a fair few mistakes in that game, but there was a fair few really, really big pots at big moments as well, some magic moments.
I said this when we were commentating on the match live. Martin really cares. I mean, he wants to win. He's out there and he wants to put on a show for everyone watching. But he actually really cares. He wants to improve. He wants to get better. And as we have another look at that, probably the biggest moment in the match, that missed black. But yeah, as I was saying, Martin absolutely cares. He really wants to put on a show. He wants to play well. He doesn't want to just win. He wants to improve and showcase to the pool world how well he can play.
Well, these were the moments where we thought Steve Smart had it. That amazing shot down the rail, only to miss the one in the middle, and then Martin McIntosh did what he had to do and hoovered up. Some great drama in that game, and Simon, we witnessed some incredible drama in our first game as well. I mean, this was unbelievable. Patty McCarran against Matt Lawrenson. We have a moment here at the end of the match. The first set was dramatic. The second set was even more. So we go down to the final seconds of the match, and Matt Lawrenson has 2 almost impossible shots to try and win it. And should we take a look at what happened? I think we're going to have to. Look at these two. 20 seconds for $2,000. He's going to have a shot. 10 seconds on the watch. Difficult pot. £2,000 if he nails it. How about it, Matt Lawrenson?
Oh.
But he's got it off. Oh, I don't believe it. I do not believe what I've just seen. I still don't believe it.
I don't know. It's incredible. I just can't believe that finish. With that much time left on the clock, the finish he had to take out, finishing off angle, coming up with a big pot, and have it taken away from him. Oh, it's just horrible for Matt, and great drama for us to watch.
Well, there we see some of the money obviously being taken away from that prize pot by our two winners tonight. This is coming up for you tomorrow, the Super Series final. It should be an absolute belter, this. Gareth Hibbert against Alex O'Donoghue as the Super Series concludes on Free Sport. Been a brilliant competition so far in the last couple of months. That final tomorrow at 6 o'clock sharp here on Free Sports. Me and Simon will be with you for that once we've just about got our breath back from tonight's action. Good night.
Too fast, too fly, too flaunty, too gas, too high, yeah, we on it. We go wherever the crew going. I'm ready, so tell me who want it.
This program is brought to you by Taom Billiards.